give all glory and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and much love, honors and blessed salutations to the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. All right, come out here every week, week in and week out, daily making videos, all right, of the downfall and imminent destruction of Babylon, aka America, as you people know it, all right, which is the place of bitterness, all right, also referred to in the scriptures as the place of Maratayam, which is double bitterness, double rebellion, all right, because America is bitter, all right, especially for the people on this side, the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American Indians. These are the true Hebrew Israelites the Bible speaks about, all right, and they are chosen from the Lord. And in this time, though, we prophesy out of the scriptures of a destruction that's coming. But before that's going to happen, who y'all ignorantly call God and Jesus, because that's not their names. Jesus ain't even a word, ain't even a name. But they're going to come back and restore these people on the side who've been heavily oppressed for all generations. Because the so-called white man, all right, which is the wicked, a devil, which is the word devil means a liar, deceiver. He's been oppressing these people for generations, killing them, slaughtering them, all right, stolen their lands, all right. But by the grace of Yahweh, man, he's allowing our people to come back and become a whole nation again. Go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9. It says, "Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things I declare." And those former things include the prophecies of the Old Testament, man. And those new things that are being declared are those new prophecies, man, of the New and Old Testament. You know, those old things are old prophecies that have come to pass, and those new things are being declared by the prophets of the Most High right now, the day before you. You know, which is the destruction of Babylon. You know, which is the second coming of our Lord Yahushua, not Jesus Christ, like the brother said earlier, man. You know, that this destruction is coming to this place.
Right. And some of those former things too was our captivity in hell.
Yep.
The new things is that we're going to come out of it.
Yep.
All right. But only the elect in this time, which we're going to get on that real quick. But only the elect are going to be saved in this time.
That's right. It says, "Before they spring forth, I tell you of them," and we're told of them in the Holy Scriptures, man.
Yeah, because the world looks at what we're speaking as a impossible thing.
Yep.
Right? That our people are going to actually come out of the estate that they're in. That certain base people are going to be put back into order. All right. But these are things that are going to come to pass. All right. So go ahead and do that, Isaiah.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 9. It reads, "Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah."
Now, what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? They got destroyed by fire. All right. You can read that account with Lot. All right, but it was destroyed. Why? Because of all the wicked acts that were going on in that place. You had the ABC thing going on. You had to have had transmissions.
Yep.
All right. But you had all manner of evil going on in that place.
Yep. Trying to have sex with angels.
Yeah, trying to have sex with angels. All right. But it said, read it again.
Isaiah 1 and 9. "Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant."
See, a very small remnant. What does the word remnant go into? Survivors. All right. See, what you don't understand is that we're fighting to be survivors. We're fighting to make it out of the coming destruction that's on its way here to destroy America.
That's right.
All right. Because and the thing about being an elect is you have to be called. All right. You can't choose to, pick your space in being saved.
Yep.
A lot of people act like they deserve to be saved. All right.
But don't even. Also, I was gonna say they don't even know what they're supposed to be saved from.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. What are you supposed to be saved from? If you know the scriptures, why do you need to be saved? You know? Go ahead and
Book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
Every time that the Lord is trying to destroy the empire, there was always a remnant saved out of it. All right? And there's no difference from the kingdom of America.
Yeah.
And this time, the Lord is still being gracious, because again, this whole place should be lit up. We should be killed.
Yeah.
But the Lord has mercy, and He has care and love for His elect.
That's right.
Chosen survivors.
Yeah.
All right.
The scriptures say it's going to be more tolerable for that city than for Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah. Because you see how.
I mean, I'm sorry, it was more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah than for this city, Slack.
Exactly. Yeah. So you really compare when the Lord says that. That should tell you just how evil really is in this place. That's why we're going to get something. We're going to get Ezekiel 75. That's why the Lord is only looking at this place for evil. Right? Because the land is full of blood.
Yep.
It's full of violence. All right? But go ahead and do that.
Romans chapter 8:28. We know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to His purpose.
Right, to them who are called according to His purpose. Who is the He talking about? Who's the His? Yahweh. We all call God. All right, and for His purpose, that He's going to save a few, which that number is going to be very, very small.
Yep.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a remnant. All right, but to them who are called, you got, again, like I said, you have to be called to this thing. The only reason I'm speaking on this is because the bros were talking about it at the camp in Atlanta earlier. Inspired the Spirit. Because you got this 2022, man, and people are going to have the same mentality to the very end. They're going to be thinking they're going to be saved when they're the wicked, when they're an Edomite, they're another nation. You have that whole thing going on with vocab baloney, thinking that the nation can be saved. Yeah, vocab baloney, man.
Okay, baloney.
That's that Christian doctrine.
Yep.
You still try to teach that everybody can make it.
Yeah.
Well, if everybody can make it, who is the wicked? When the scriptures say in Sirach 12:6 that I hate all the sinners, that all the sinners of my people shall die, who is it talking about? If everybody's saved.
Verse 29, it says, for whom He did foreknow, He also predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son.
This was a thing that was already created from the beginning of the foundation of the world. Before America even came to be a power, before you people became as wicked as y'all are, the Lord already had people He was going to have stand in a good status with Him. All right, that were going to retain their integrity. They weren't going to give in to all this crap that you see going on. All right, they weren't going to conform to these ways.
If it were
I was
possible.
thinking about this earlier with Judah, with just our people, man. Y'all got deceived back in the 60s by equal rights movements. Now you think you could, we could walk in, Canary Coffee or whatever, without having to Edomite look, where to hang you, that's that deception that guides, which is the distortment of truth.
Yep.
See, this place breeds contempt, bitterness, and lies. Someone give me a name of three.
Johann, there's a quote by a philosopher, Johann van Goth, and he said, "None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who think they are free."
Even had it, might say that if we listen to them, we're going to lose our way. All right? Roughly paraphrasing.
It's the book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery.
That city is America. All right, again, look into the word America, man. It goes back from the Hebrew word mar, or moray, which goes into bitterness. And the first person that used that word, or that had that word exhibited to him, was Esau, the so-called white man. Go in it, it's pretty dope. That Blue Letter Bible, type in bitterness, or bitter, and it will find it was the first time used with Esau. So it's a spirit that it links up to now, where he's showing a bitter kingdom. Okay? But this city that is full of lies and robbery is what happened. How did Esau get this place? He slaughtered the whole people, the Gadites and some of the Seminoles. All right? He stole his land. There's even a book.
Issachar.
Issachar Khan. There's even a book called Stolen Continent by the Edomites. All right? Which is the so-called white man.
Nahum 3:1. Woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and the prancing horse and of the prancing horse, and of the jumping chariots.
Right, who is that prey, man? The prey departed not. Right? What it's talking about you Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. You are the prey under the so-called white man. All right, and he's busy, you know, creating a bunch of noise and everything when he comes to pursue you. All right. America has been detrimental to our people, man, ever since we came into it. You know, I sent that clip yesterday with the American guys. What's the guy's name, man?
The spider. It was a the African spider god.
Yeah.
The African spider god Anansi,
There you go.
played by Orlando Brown.
There you go. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he was talking about what was going to happen when you so-called blacks and Latinos, or so-called blacks, what was going to happen to you when you came over to America. Good thing he said was, goes 100 years when you come into here to America, you're going to get fucked. Another 100 years after that, you're still going to be fucked. Our condition never lightened up. It was always the same.
Yep.
These schemes, these tricks that Esau put out to pull in our people was so that he could keep us subjugated and from ever trying to rise up. All right? He's repeating other acts or attributes that other nations held to our people in the past, like Egypt. Egypt knew that our people would try to raise up out of the oppression because we were a great people. The same way with Esau, man. That's why you got these burdens of always, that's why you work like a slave today. It's only to keep you to wake up, to keep running after that fake dream. Okay? But you are the prey. That's how he's hunting you. All right? Go ahead. Keep on going down to this one.
Nahum 3:3. The horseman lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear. And there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses.
That's because you pray, you jakes are constantly being killed every single day, and people want to try to put it behind like it's nothing. It's not too big of an issue. It's all about the issue, man. All right, Esau has a quota. He has to meet these demands, and you got to understand that this man was designed to be the wicked. All right, his pleasure is to be as a lion, you know, seeking who he can devour. Someone give me Psalms 5:21, and then another one, I think, Psalms 7. We're gonna get that one. All right, because what I'm talking about now, real quick, is just Esau was designed to be the wicked. All right, there's one where it talks about how he's a lion. He's like a lion in his den, waiting to catch up the prey of the poor. That's us. All right, those are you jakes, man. When a lion's hungry, or when a lion is sporting, you know, to exercise his skill, which is what is the lion? He's the king of the jungle, right? Because he is good at how do you say it? He's a predator. There you go.
Yeah, he's an apex predator.
There you go. And that's what Esau is viewed as today, an apex predator. Go ahead.
This is Proverbs 16:4. It says, "The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil."
And really, you got to understand, the Lord created the so-called white man to be the apex that he is today, the apex predator. That's the only reason that he has that power. Without that, he ain't nothing. But in this time, he is that alpha, and he's hunting you jakes, you prey,
He's just
for
getting old.
sport, that he can kill
He's just
you.
getting old.
All right?
He was an apex predator amongst birds.
Yep.
You know, that's the symbol for, you know, Babylon.
Right. That one, Psalm 55. And as for Psalm 57,
Yeah, but this all, Slocky, but just a little tidbit, that this all goes back, because like the brother said, when he spoke about the eagle, this all goes back to the so-called white man's blessing in Genesis 27 chapter. You know, he was given the sole control over this earth. You know, when you go back into Job 9:24, he was given the dew of heaven, you know, the fatness of the earth. You know, he was given the whole world. So, of course, he was set up to be that apex, you know. Somebody get Deuteronomy 4 and 17. Look, Slocky. I mean, I'm sorry, Daniel. Slocky. Yeah, Daniel 4.
So back in Nahum chapter 3, verse 3, the horseman lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses.
Those are those missiles that are going to come as well. Right? Because Esau's perfected his blessing,
Yep.
which is the sword.
Glittering sword.
Yep. And you see him using it today on these other nations.
Yep.
All right. You know, he's stopping them from those B-51 bombers and all that. You know, using the control little joystick to drop it from a cargo container. Using those the drones.
The gravity bombs.
Yeah. You know, what movie he just released? Top Gun 2.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. There you go. You know? But a multitude is slain. Very soon, that's going to come to America. All right. Very soon, they're going to have. There's a scripture in Jeremiah, if someone wanted to get it, brother, where it says that eventually death is going to come into your window.
Jeremiah 9:21.
I thought it was Jeremiah 9. But that's because Esau's going to be using his weaponry, basically showing who he really was off in the beginning, and he's going to have his fun with it.
Yep.
It says, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, and it's like that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts.
Yep.
But you notice how it said, how did it say? Because of the welfare harlot, the mistress of witchcraft. This was planned from the beginning by Esau too. All right. See, you got the Lord having an agenda, when you got Esau having one too. He always wanted to do this to our people.
Got it.
He always wanted you Negroes and Latinos to fall down and be slain. The well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, all those tricks and schemes and tricks and schemes. These ideologies and philosophies that he threw out to basically have you people get complacent was also that he could kill you in the end.
That's how we deceived the nations.
Yeah, because it said that Babylon had been a golden cup.
Yep.
You know, this whole philosophy spilled out onto the whole world. But you have a time that we're going to come into where it's all going to be stopped. Like the brother read earlier in Isaiah, the former things have come to pass.
Yep.
And now the new things are to come. We're going to have the wicked ceasing eventually. All right? The prison house is going to be shut down.
God.
The prison is America. All right? You have something?
Yeah, really quick. This is Micah chapter 5, verse 12. It says, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands.
You understand how many people are bought into an image? Esau knows this. Go ahead.
Look at today, right? What is Issachar celebrating today, right? The Mexican Day of Independence or something like that. You know, Issachar isn't free, man. That's a whole illusion, man.
Yep.
You know, that's witchcraft. That's an image that, you know, like the brother was alluding to. That's another image that Jake has, got with.
Check this out. I'm going to talk about the name Jesus real quick. That's the biggest image. When you look up into those words, you break them into two words. You look in the Latin G and then sus. I can't wait to say jokes today. So, you know, it sounds sus. G goes into the word earth, the Latin. Sus sounds like it looks. It goes into pig, an earth pig. So that's the image that y'all worship, an earth pig. All right, so what is a pig? We already know it's an unclean animal. So you worshiping something unclean. But by this, man, this is how Esau captivates your minds. All right, because really that earth pig is you Edomites. All right.
And you think about it, it's funny because what did we used to call Edomites back in the or so-called white back in the world? Pigs. You know, those pig skins over there. You know, pink booties. Yeah.
Because they have the same cup, they have the same skin complexion. Go ahead. You got what you needed? Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to read more?
Read it again.
Okay.
Oh, well, no, read the very first part where it says
this is Micah chapter 5, verse 12. It says, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand.
There you go. The witchcraft is going to be cut off eventually. The enchantment that's been put on the people, mainly you Israelites, is going to be cut off. Because there's a cutoff point to wickedness, man. That's the thing. Job 4:5, man. There's a determined time for it.
That's right.
The Lord only, like the brother read earlier in Isaiah as well, man, about the evil and the good being created. Evil ain't supposed to reign forever. Right? It's just for a time appointed.
Yeah.
So America is here for a time appointed.
That's right.
Because it's being ruled by the wicked.
That's right.
Right?
It says, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee. And thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands.
Yeah, your own ways.
Like if I can add, you got Jake breaking their neck, right? I'm trying to accomplish things in Babylon, But just like the brother read, man, all that's being cut off now. Nobody's gonna remember how many championships you won.
Yeah.
How many Grammys you got.
Yeah. Or how much money you got, because that's a witchcraft talisman note.
It says in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, it says, shall it not be said of the Lord of hosts that the people shall weary themselves for very vanity in the fire. This is all vain, man. At the end of the day, it's all emptiness. When you rightly divide and discern what's going on, though, you understand there's a reason behind it, but it's all a test. But this whole place breeds vanity. Nothing, worthlessness. Because like again, you're not going to take that memorial of yourself with you into the kingdom, because this is all shit. The only thing that you're going to take for yourself as a memorial is the elect's trials that they went through.
Yeah, their testimony.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Testimonies. Yep.
Con, you still reading on that Nahum 3?
I think he also has a scripture.
Okay, con, because the brother just posted Nahum 3 and 6. And I know you already in Nahum 3, so.
Go ahead, read that. Okay, read from that, but you know what that's right.
Book of Nahum, chapter 3, and verse 6. It reads, Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face.
See, it says, I am against thee. So when you look at on the witchcraft talisman note on the money, they say in God we trust. They always say in God bless America, but that's saying that the Most High is against you.
And what the scriptures say, man, whoever disowned the Lord and his will, once he thought about to take his intents. The Lord's intent and purpose is to destroy America. All right, but it said, I am against thee. All right, go ahead.
God. It says, Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face.
Yep, and that's what we're doing right up here. This is how Esau is being revealed by the holy prophets. All right, the called and the chosen that are revealing the hidden things of dishonesty. Pursuant to 2 Corinthians 4. This whole place is a lie.
So like I just thought about the Dave Chappelle show. Remember that? Remember when on the skit where Dave Chappelle was playing that character, he was the head of the KKK.
Oh yeah.
But nobody knew that he was, a so-called Negro.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he pulled his mask off, and everybody people's head exploded and stuff like that.
And he really believed he was an Edomite.
Right. Hey, well that's the same thing with Esau, because Esau believes that he's something that he's not. He believes he's a god.
Yep.
He's got the God complex.
What Logan said?
I was just thinking that. I couldn't wait to say that again.
Continue on, it says, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame.
That you were never and the nations are going to look at you like, damn, this guy was really a piece of shit. Look what he's been doing. He's been lying.
Well, you read, I'm saying when you read Isaiah 14, Salaki, when you read Isaiah 14, it tells you, is this the man?
Yeah, they said that they shall narrowly look upon him. So all the attention of his shame is going to be the only thing that's brought out whenever he's referred to. When they talk about him in the kingdom or something, there's never going to be anything nice to say about him. Nothing. All the horrors of his witchcrafts, all the disenchantments, all the spells he was constantly putting on the people. Someone posted in the chat last week of this Jake talking about the music that's promoted. And he said, they're promoting death. They're promoting death. And he's asking, how can it be so? All right, how can you get away with promoting death? But you get a YouTube video for saying the singing hip, and it goes down immediately.
Yep.
And then just yesterday, I seen on my brother's page on YouTube, or they posted an article, and they were saying, they were revealing that the God, I'm not saying this without getting censored. The ABC, D, ABC. There you go. So those 3 letters that I said, right? C, C and the letter D in the middle. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just say serpent piss.
Okay. Oh, the vitamin juice. But they were revealing. Well, it wasn't about that. It was about them particularly. But they was just being revealed that they were lying the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So when these,
The CDC came out and said, yeah, it doesn't really work. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Now it's too late.
The Tuskegee Institute.
Right. Yeah, well,
I probably shouldn't have said that either.
Yeah, because now they're backtracking their own rules that he made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as the 6 feet thing and et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were telling you the whole time how wrong it was to take vitamin juice.
Yep.
We were telling you that it was going to cause certain shit. We were giving you the articles, the information. Brother, we had that one voice note with the African doctor, Jay. He was talking about the spike protein and all that in this thing, and what it was really called, and what it was meant to do. We told you about these things, and y'all didn't listen.
And then on top of that, Mr. Tony decided to go ahead and quietly just resign.
Right.
Yeah.
At the same time that came out.
After almost damn near 40 years, you know.
Right.
Right.
You filled your purpose.
Yeah, you got a lot of that.
Mr. Locke, you read that over? So the skirts will be lifted up?
Yep. Nahum, right? Oh, yeah, got that. I'll read it over. Nahum 3 and 5, and it reads, Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame.
And how are the other nations seeing the nakedness? Through the internet. You know, that's why Rockefeller said the internet should have never been invented. You know, you have all these articles and these right-wing or left-wing news outlets coming out. You had WikiLeaks, you had Edward Snowden, you had all of these whistleblowers, and you have the prophets. You know, on top of all of that. You know, so the other nations are looking at America like, damn. So this is what you've been doing for your 200 years on this earth. Oh, you had a hand in this coup d'etat. You had a hand in this civil war. You know, you had a hand in the destabilizing of this country. You know, damn. Okay, and that's what's going to make the nations fed up. That's why they're going to shoot hell on this place, man. You know.
I know there's something like with Israel. The princes, they have princes.
The sheiks.
There was something about their lines. Some of their lines actually go back to Edomite, Esau.
Ottoman Turks.
They integrated themselves, and they look like Arabs now. You know, Edomites.
During the Crusades, the Ottoman Empire started ruling in the 900s, and by the time they were taken down in the 1300s during the Renaissance, when the Renaissance period started, they were displacing the Arab nations and actually mixing and mingling their seed amongst the Arab Brotherhood over there, just like they did with us over here, you know. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But a lot of those Arab nations over there are Edomites. Over there in Egypt, they pushed the Sudanese and the real Mizraimites, if I can say that as a word, down into Sudan, and you know, the Zulu tribes. They pushed them down into the middle of Africa, and those Ottoman Turks became the new Arab Brotherhood, the new Egyptians, the new Libyans, the new, you know. So all of that history has been suppressed.
But all that information, though, again, these other nations will see that and they're like, wait a minute, they've been losing us too. So that's why eventually the World War III is going to happen. Because these other nations are going to get tired. It tells you that other nations are mad. All right? Go ahead.
Okay. So like, as the brother's bringing up the information, it's 4:11. It's Nahum 3 and 6. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile. And will set thee as a gazing stock.
Yeah, because at the end, your end is going to be pitiful. It's going to be shameful. This is the man, but he couldn't overcome this aspect. He couldn't overcome the Lord's will.
Yeah. Somebody grab that Isaiah 14.
Abominable filth is going to be cast upon him. The report of Esau is going to always be.
Yeah, somebody grab it. Oh, okay. Oh no, he got 4 scriptures already.
No, in the kingdom though, again, like I said, man, his report's going to always be negative,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, is that the last one? Who had,
Yeah, whoever. Go ahead.
well, what did you want?
Oh no, the you kept quoting Isaiah 47. Is this the man? Isaiah 14?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it 14?
It's 14. Yep.
Yeah, Isaiah 14. Just let me narrow it. Well, start at like,
No, go ahead.
start at like 14.
Hell from beneath.
This Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4. And thou shalt take up this parable against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased? Though his city cease. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers.
We understand how that's going to happen. Our thermonuclear fire. We understand that the Lord is eventually going to create a standard that's going to put away all the oppressive laws that Esau is trying to put on the people, because there's going to be uprisings. Esau is doing this himself though too, man. He's creating the template basically for these insurrections, these seditions that are going to occur. Because people are getting tired of what's going on here. All right, you got the middle class now starting to bitch about everything. All right, they're going to have to be selling their cars and trucks and shit. All right, they complaining. Yeah, I know. I can't wait to see that though. I know what's going to happen. All right, but you got Esau creating these standards because he's trying to gain mass control of the people. All right, but it says that the Lord is going to break that scepter. What does it say in Job 27? You know, when he's about to feel his belly, or you know, he may try to feel it, but it's basically stopping.
Yeah, she'll rain it upon him while he's eating.
Yeah. I get the full sufficiency of all that. That's one, but you know, like we said from the beginning, there's a cutoff point to these things. All right, there's a cutoff point to the tyranny of the so-called white man.
It's the book of St. Job, chapter 20, verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and it shall rain upon him. It's like he shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
And all the sins will be taken from you.
Yeah.
All right, your rulership is going to end. That tells you that in 2 Kings 6 chapter.
God, spectacular. Oh, it's like
No, that Esau is the end of the world.
Yep.
That's talking about the end of a rulership.
that's right.
All right. So his ruling is going to end soon. We already know, man. This place is being ruled in a terrible way. Someone new has to rule. If it ain't us, shit, still put someone else up. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude does not know how to rule shit.
I mean, it can't be nobody else because
Exactly.
everybody else is wicked.
Right.
All the other nations are wicked.
Right.
Yeah.
I was trying, you know, it was a hidden comment because it has to be us.
Yep.
Yeah, we look like, you know, rats and shit today, man, but we're in a lower state. But
It's like a rat.
It's time for righteousness.
Con.
This earth hasn't been ruled in righteousness in a long, long time.
That's right.
You know, it's time.
that's why the scriptures say in 2nd Ezra, man, that eventually the intemperance and infidelity is going to be cut out.
That's right.
Righteousness shall spring forth.
That's right.
Whether y'all can see it or not, man, Israel is supposed to be the righteous ones, man. We've just been going off because we disobeyed our power.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
It's just to back you up. This is Job 14 and 5. Seeing his days are determined,
There we go.
the number of his months are with thee.
Yeah, so he has a time limit.
Yep.
This man has a time limit on how long he can rule, on what he can do, how much he can do, you know. And even though right now, and you know, and then speaking to, you know, the brothers in the faith, even though right now it seems like, damn, like this shit is just getting increasingly wicked. It's increasingly vexing. Like, how far is this gonna go? You know, but it's going to go far enough. You know, he's gonna go far enough. And when he goes far enough, go ahead.
Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Right. So there's gonna be a point. There's gonna be a cutoff point.
Yeah, David asked, man, in Psalm 94, he said, how long, O Lord, for the chopping of the wicked be?
God.
We still gotta wake up to this shit. We still gotta wake up to sick as hell, man.
Yep.
We're still getting canker sores and whatnot.
Yep.
You know, like, man, yeah, headaches.
Can't breathe.
Man, I was thinking about that on the way here. I honestly don't remember what it's like to really breathe or smell properly, girl.
Me neither.
I was thinking about that. I don't. I was thinking about like, holy shit. I don't know what it's like to smell clear air anymore. We live in a cesspool, man. the Jesus pool.
They sound blue smart. Blue says, this place is a cesspool. A cesspool, really? Is that what it is?
Isaiah 14, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the rulers. He who spoke the people of wrath, took the stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered.
You can't say that any other nation on the planet. The only one that made the statement, I am the destroyer of the worlds, I have become death.
Yep.
No other nation had ever declared something like that before, other than the so-called white.
Yep. And you know what's funny about that? Robert Oppenheimer got that from damn, I can't remember the Sanskrit text he got that from. But in the Sanskrit text that he got that from, that quote is talking about the end of the world. I'm if I find it, I'll send it to brothers on the chat later.
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. Break forth into singing.
We didn't address him earlier, that's why he was like that.
He didn't address it?
He didn't say nothing really.
Right.
Whispered and shit. Go ahead.
Verse 7 again, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. They the fir trees rejoice at the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us.
Right, because when the Lord does put this so-called white man down out of his rule, it's going to be peaceful.
Yep.
It's going to be far better than this, man.
Yeah.
You got us, like I said, we wake up in a beautiful condition every day. I remember there was a statistic where it said that the average person wakes up like 330 something plus times throughout the year upset. That's because we live in a pitiful ass place, man. Yeah. We live in a very bitter time. The brother broke it down, man, about America going into the name Maria. Why do you think a lot of Latinos' middle names are Maria or Marie? Because they bred them out of bitterness. And they were like, God damn, this is such a bitter time, I had to get a kid. You know? It's a bad time to be having children. All right? You know, but we got to, you know, as soon as this hell is all over, though, we already understand it's going to be peaceful, right?
I was shy, his name is what? Prince of Peace, right? And then they ain't that what it's not that was quoted. But how shy being shit means what? It's going to be peaceful again, you know? At least for the nation Israel.
No, for the other nations too.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
29 and 2, yeah. The other nations, it's going to be peaceful for them too. That's why when we read Isaiah 14, in case, you know, brothers were confused, when we read Isaiah 14, the scriptures use certain things as an allegory for nations of people. Those trees, those fir trees, those trees of Lebanon, those trees that are rejoicing, because ain't no way, a tree ain't gonna sing no praises and rejoice, man. You know, that's talking about the other nations in the world, man. Rejoicing because they're not ruled over by the devil anymore. This great Satan, you know, this scarlet witch. You know, so yeah, and the other nations gonna be in peace too. Even though, yeah, we gonna have them in hardcore bondage. You know what I'm saying? But after that, they're going to live peacefully, man, being tributaries and servants unto Israel, like it says in Isaiah the 2nd chapter. You know, hell, even in slavery, we ain't even gonna treat them as bad as Esau treated them. You still gonna get your ass kicked out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like
right.
If you do what Esau tells you to do, doesn't he treat you kind of, you know, well, I don't even want to call it decent, but he'll treat you with benefits the same way that you, as long as you go along the right way and get along with us, you'll be treated all right. Right? But we ain't going to be doing it the way, we ain't going to be ruling you in anger.
Yep.
Scripture said we're going to have a rod of iron to rule you, which is going to just be a rulership class mentality.
Yep.
All right, you're going to do things that's going to have you to go off, only to keep that rulership class mentality.
Yep.
But you're ultimately going to fall in line eventually. Yep. All right. And if you don't, you know, you do it like this.
Yep. Exactly.
Isaiah 14 and 9. Hell from beneath is moved to meet thee, thy coming. It stirreth up the dead, even all the chief ones of the earth.
Yeah, so when you look at that, it says hell from beneath thee is moved to meet thee at thy coming. It says from beneath. When something's beneath you, you don't know what direction it's coming from. You know, it's like somebody pulling a rug up under you. You know, when you lose your balance, you're staggering. These missiles, these ICBM missiles are going to be the machine that's going to make Esau lose his balance and his temperament, man. You know, in his kingdom. You know, read a line up.
Therefore, 14:9. Hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. And stirreth up the dead for thee.
Right, stirreth up the dead for thee. Meaning the dead is talking about the other nations. Why? Because they were never given the commandments of life, the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So the dead represents the other nations, right? Go ahead.
Even all the chief ones of the earth.
Even all the chief ones of the earth. So not only did it specify the dead, which are the other nations, but the elites of the other nations. Go ahead.
They have raised up. So they have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
Right. So now they're not in a subtle, not in a docile state anymore. They're standing up. When a king stands up, like if you ever watch those old period pieces, when a king stands up, that's wartime. That's ready for war. You know. Con. Con.
But verse 10 it says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become as weak as we?
Right, they're gonna look upon. Oh, wait. I thought y'all were this almighty power of the earth. I thought you were a major power of the earth. Well, now it looks like we're on the same playing field, because everybody has access to the World Wide Web internet. So now you can learn anything. You know, they have access to superior technology now, because now they not only do they have access to the process of enriching uranium, they have access to on different processes and ways to learn how to make their technology better, their infrastructure, their economies better. You know, so now they're elevating up above America in certain aspects, especially when it comes to economic and technology, man. Well, I wouldn't say technology, economic and economic and monetary, and sometimes technology too, because other nations, like for example Russia, they have better nukes than America does. Yeah, you know.
They got satellites. Russia has satellites that can actually they have a missile that can disarm the radar satellites.
God. I mean, but even though they got all this technology, who can make war with the beast?
Yeah.
You know, because Esau's been bred, like the beast has been bred for war. You know, but Salaki, go ahead.
Jokes really on them, because when it comes to the Lord has the ability to set those on and offline.
Yep.
Via the chariots, the angels.
That's right.
Con.
Continuing on verse 10. It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave.
That pride is brought down to the grave. You know, and you can see that one of the apexes of America's pride was Donald Trump. You know, or Trump. You know, they don't even call him President Trump like they call all the past presidents. They just call this nigga Trump. Right. So like when you look at it, it says that pomp is being brought down to the grave, meaning America isn't going to see itself as the only end-all be-all nation on the earth. You know, when you go back into Rome, there's a philosophy called solipsism. So, or solipsism, or however you say it, because it's all spelled all messed up. But there's a philosophy where you know, you watch old period pieces and they all tell you, for the glory of Rome, all roads lead to Rome. Whether it's righteousness or wickedness, everything comes from Rome, right? But when you go into the philosophy solipsism, basically what's that saying? A person can have that mentality or a whole nation of people. And in the philosophy, basically you don't acknowledge anyone else as your equal. In your mind, you're the only thing that exists. And that's true for America. America's for the longest time has been the only thing that they think exists on the planet. They have the best everything, you know. They have the best economy. They have the best military. They got the best technology. They got the best everything, you know. Nobody but us mentality. So when they go and they pillage these other lands and they take all of their resources, they think that it's all for them anyway, you know.
They say that too.
Yeah.
You know, it's our God-given right.
Yeah, our God. That's what Trump said.
Yeah,
it's our
yeah.
God-given right. You know, it's our God-given right to be lords over the earth. He said that. Matter of fact, he said that 4 years ago in a speech when he was creating the Space Force.
Yeah.
You know.
Real quick, I want to read this because this goes into that. This is from the Edomite William C. Langford and he made the comment, quote, "I truly believe in the supremacy of the white race. I believe the white race gave us the greatest possible form of government. No other race could have added to it. This government of the white man was not helped." All right.
But they were helped. They were helped by the Most High. Yes. Oh, somebody get Jeremiah 51. It started 7 about Babylon being golden cup.
It says no one will make it better in the future. I believe that when this planet was created, the Almighty personally turned it over to the whites.
Woo! And he did. And he did. Somebody get Daniel the 4th chapter. You know, somebody get Daniel 4 and 17 as well, because this is what happened. Now you're getting now we're getting a little deep. So we're getting into the blessing of Esau, Edom, the so-called Caucasian man, and what he's accomplished on the earth was given to him by the Most High. Somebody get the blessing in Genesis the 27th chapter. You know, so like what you're seeing is the mentality that the beast has coming from the scriptures. There's also a book called America's Deadliest Export, Democracy by William Blum. And in the preface, it talked about how they had the Space Command that was created in the 90s before Trump coined it now the new Space Force. They've always had this. And in the excerpt, there was a top general, and he said, soon we'll be able to fight from space. Soon we'll be able to fight in space, and we'll be able to control outer space like we control international airspace on the earth. You know, so it's all about control for them. But that goes back to the blessing. But Slocky, oh, go ahead.
This Daniel 4:17. This matters by the decree of the watchers, and to demand by the word of the holy one.
Yeah, the holy angels in Yahweh Shai, man. This is the decree. This is what's set in stone. Go ahead.
To the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
Right, to the intent that the living may know. Now, who are the living? Right, we talked about the dead earlier, right? So now that the living Israel may know that no, these people ain't ruling over you. Fuck Nebuchadnezzar. Fuck the Assyrians. Fuck Babylon. They're not the ones that are ruling over you. I'm giving them the power to rule over you. Go ahead.
Originally yours.
That's right.
It says, and giveth it to whomsoever he will.
Yep.
And set up over it the basis of men.
Right, and the base men on this planet are the other nations, but the basis of men at this point in time, is who's always was, is the so-called white man. Your daddy. You know? So, and right there, that brought down Nebuchadnezzar's pride right there. Just like when you read Isaiah 14, it says his pomp is being brought down to the grave, man. You know, you can go back to that. 51 and 7. Yep. Because we have to understand why America has been so pompous. Why, like, not only are they going around taking over other nations and stealing resources, but the amount of wealth they've accumulated through their raping and robbing and pillaging, and then in the 60s manufacturing and all these things that they've created and sent all over the earth over time. They've built that pride up. But Slocky, go ahead. Yep. You got Jeremiah 51?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hold that. Slocky. Go ahead. Yep.
This book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, Starting at verse 1. Right?
7.
7. Jeremiah 51 and verse 7, and it reads, Babylon hath been a golden cup, it's like a golden cup in the Lord's hand.
Right. When you look at a golden cup, what do you think about? You think of a chalice that a king drinks out of, right? You know, you put the finest wine in there, you know what I'm saying, or the finest, you know, whatever you drinking, you know what I'm saying. You put the finest everything in there, and that cup is beheld by the king, and nobody can drink out of that cup, you know. So that's how America was beholden. And when you look at history, going into the after World War II, the 1940s, and then when it hit the 1960s, you had something called the Roaring 60s, you know, or the American Golden Age, the Industrial Age. This is when America started manufacturing appliances, started manufacturing pretty much everything and anything on the planet, and selling it. That's where almost where the crux of America's wealth came in. But before that, we can go into the railroads that were built by Cornelius Vanderbilt. You know, the steel that was used to build all the infrastructure and the bridges by Andrew Carnegie. The banking system that was created by Chase Morgan. You know, the oil baron David Rockefeller in the late 1800s. Going into World War I and World War II, where they were selling these exploits to these other nations and these excess powers to start these wars. And that's where America built their money from. Then after World War II, what did they do? They had something called the Marshall Plan. Now, what the Marshall Plan is, the Marshall Plan was a plan that America entered into with Britain and the European nations to help build up Europe after it was destroyed in World War II. And guess what the catch was? The catch was for the American dollar to become the central banking currency of the world instead of the British pound. So now they solidified their spot all over the world as the central banking currency. Now they can sell their currency, they can sell anything they have to these other nations. That's why all these other nations, they take dollars. Why do you have to come to America? You got to exchange your money. You go over to Mexico, you go over to Germany and Italy, you know what I'm saying? And you can actually use your American money, you know? So fast forward that to the 60s, now they're manufacturing all the technology and appliances that they're shipping all over the world. The microwaves, the ovens, the refrigerators, the furnaces, you know? Honeywell and what's Johnson Controls down here. They created the central heating system and the thermostats that went in the submarines. You know, David Rockefeller selling Mobil One oil to the sheiks over there in the Arab world. This is how America built their wealth, and they built their military industrial complex. This was a process over time, you know. But so that's what it means when it says Babylon has been a golden cup. The Lord set this place up to be the yellow brick road in the Wizard of Oz. Go ahead.
Well, it's the same way that you get the Roman Empire. You had to have all the roads, well, not the roads, verbally, or literally.
All roads led to Rome. Whether it was wickedness or righteousness, Rome created it, right? And that's where you have now in the day and age, America created all this wickedness, you know? But go ahead.
Jeremiah 51 and 7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand.
Mm-hmm.
That made all the earth drunken.
Mm-hmm. Somebody grab the witchcraft sign. You know?
It says, the nations have drunken of her wine.
This is the wine right here, man. You know? And then you couple this with their military industrial complex, and America went all over the planet, putting their garrisons in other countries and basically destroying and pillaging other countries, taking their resources, and then doubling back and say, oh, you know what? Here's democracy. You know? What did they do to Iran? I mean, to Iraq and Iran during the so-called war on terror? They went 10 years and went over and destroyed the Arab nations, and then here's democracy. You know? Now you have something called the Arab Spring. And they brought democracy, they brought all types of philosophies to the Arab world, man, which end up destabilizing those countries. And it started when they took out Gaddafi.
Yeah, when they went to Cairo, Egypt.
Yeah. Oh, Muammar Mubarak?
also had, when they were trying to elect the first president, whatever, who they made a woman. There was a report made back that said, the fuck would America ever come to here and be anything good?
Right.
Because America, everywhere it goes, that democracy is spreading, it's so that it all has to flow back to America.
Yep. Exactly.
It says, the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
This is the prelude to your destruction, America. Now the nations are pissed off because now they finding all this shit out. The internet is all over the place. They got documents. You put your legislation on whitehouse.gov. Anybody can go on whitehouse.gov and look up these legislations, and they got their own lawyers and legislation writers, so that they can go through all of your documents and pick out. And they have and I'm gonna use Adobe Acrobat, or Adobe Creative Studio has a program in Adobe Acrobat where you can unredact documents. So all of that top secret stuff they got out, and it's redacted. It's all those black lines. Take those black lines out and read exactly what was typed on that document. So nothing is hidden anymore. You know, this witchcraft, which was once hidden on the earth, that nobody could figure out why America was so prominent. Now it's coming to light. You know, now not only what it is, but how you're using it, when they're using it, why they're using it. You know, it's almost now to the point where they're predictable.
Right. Back in the day, all the other nations looked at this as an opportunity. They didn't understand how it built up. They didn't have what information that they do now.
That's right.
Now it's like,
It says in Isaiah 59 about the cockatrice weaving her web.
Yep.
You know, those are all those snares, man. Like these other nations come over to America thinking there's, opportunity, and then they find out through their own demise because they themselves can't even get that opportunity that America is pushing.
Yep. And then our families are destabilized because their daughters are being whores in the street.
We got bitches running.
Isaiah, would you building it?
No.
Yeah, keep on going on. Yeah, keep on going on. Let's start from where you shut off the
Jeremiah 51:7, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Yep.
Yeah, we see through the Edomites now. We see through you so-called white men. The whole world sees through you now. All right, you're not the hunk anymore of the world. All right, you're not the Victoria's Secret model. You know, you have been revealed.
It's time to say she shall no longer be able to hide herself.
That's right. Yep. Those breaches are seen.
Yeah, the skirts have been lifted up, and now we see just how nasty, webbed up, and all it is. Loops.
Yep.
Well, the scriptures talk about the merchant
Merchant
city that
city.
you dealt business with. That's you basically doing that spiritual, I'll just say transaction.
Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed.
Yep.
Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so, it's like if so be she may be healed.
Right. It said howl for her, take balm for her pain, like lament for her. Why? Because that golden cup has a gash in it now. It's leaking wine. You know what I'm saying? It's not valuable anymore. So hey, let's try and heal Babylon. Let's make their economy better. Let's throw out these quantitative easings to throw this money into circulation, and hopefully that people will start buying things and boosting the economy. Let's give people more jobs and boost the GDP. But the thing is that it's not working anymore. They said if so, she may be healed. But there's no salve, or there's no solution to America leaking that wine. There's no solution to that chalice leaking that wine. You can't mend it back together. Guess what you got to do now? Because it's gold. Guess what you got to do? You can't weld it back together. You gotta melt that shit all the way down. Hence, thermonuclear destruction.
That's right. Verse 9, it says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, every one, into his own country.
Yeah, let's leave this. Let's get out this horse bed. Let's get out this whore's bed and go home because she ain't got nothing here for me no more. I can't enjoy sitting back like a fat cat drinking wine and, you know, enjoying the programming of her television, you know, enjoying the luxuries of having a washer and dryer. You know what I'm saying?
So like, if I may add, you know, because every brother knows like a local corner store, or, you know, gas station or something like that, right? You know, the Ishmaelites kind of cool sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an Ishmaelite family that owns a gas station that I actually pretty much been going to since I was 11, right? But during the pandemic, right? They lost a lot of
Customers?
yeah, well
Revenue?
like stuff that you had to name out. So like I can't think of the word, but like certain things, certain things,
Mm-hmm.
like that. Yeah. And when they opened back up, they were being taxed heavy. You know, prices of things were rising.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
had
they
to
couldn't
make
keep up.
They had to make up for the money that they lost, right?
Yeah. And they couldn't because the inflation. So they were spending money at a higher rate than they were pulling in.
Right. And what happened was, I went in there one time and he was like, "Hey man, anything in here, man, you can have for, you know, 1/4 of whatever it's worth."
Because they just trying to recoup their money.
I said, why? He said because me and my family are going back to, you know, wherever they came from.
Yep.
He said we're not making our money here.
That's right. Yep. That yellow brick road is all tarnished and fucked up. Those, you find out, you scrub them yellow bricks hard enough, you found out that ain't gold, that's tungsten. They just airbrushed it with gold. They did China bogus.
We would have healed Babylon. But she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and she is lifted up even to the skies.
Yeah, that's her iniquity. Her iniquity reached heaven, you know? So that judgment is going to be equally as great.
Verse 10, the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come, and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our power.
This is what we're doing right now. We're declaring that work of Yahweh Shah. Letting you know this is his doing. He's the one that's going to destroy America in the end. He's the one that's going to have a part in put a judgment on you people. Right? Now, right now we're using Esau as always the main topic, but he's the one that's doing it by the Lord of hosts. All right? You gonna go with that?
God. Verse 11, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord, Yahweh, hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes.
That's Russian.
Yep. Because eventually it's going to come a point in time when Russia's going to come after America. They're going to do, America's going to do something to piss off Russia to the point where they're going to just disregard whatever sanctions were put on them, whatever. They're going to go to war. And we were talking about the technology that these other nations now possess. They possess the knowledge in the tactical warfare to come and fight against America. They have their allies, all right? They have other allies, you know, that they form groups with in that day. Because the scriptures do say in Revelation 17th chapter that the other nations, the Lord had put it in their heart to agree to give the kingdom over to the horde until a time appointed. Because eventually all the nations that we've been talking about are going to, you know, fight this place.
That's right.
Right? But it said, make bright the arrows, that's some of the thermonuclear missiles. Right?
It says, the Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. For his device is against Babylon to destroy it.
Yep.
Against, there goes that word against again.
It says, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it.
There you go. It is the Lord's device is against Babylon to destroy it. Right? Babylon means what? Confusion. Everybody was confused here in America. Nobody knows really what they're supposed to be doing. Again, you know, you talked about earlier, what do you need to be saved from? But you don't know it. You know? So yeah.
Groping in the dark at noonday.
Yeah.
It says because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple.
Because the Lord was always against this place, man. That's something you need to understand. And I know there's still a lot of you people, man, who don't believe that. And I'm not talking about Jacob, I'm talking about the whole world, man. Y'all don't believe that this place deserves a punishment. You don't believe that the solution is destruction. People want to act like, well, you can't do that. Well, look what you did to our people.
Yeah.
Look how many millions, if not billions, of Israelites were killed in the time that the wicked have ruled.
Yeah.
Not just Esau, also now going into other nations. Look how many of us were laid down low just for you to enjoy the way your little rulership. And the thing about two other nations, like we said earlier, how you can't, it's impossible for you to rule too, is because every time one of y'all nations rule, y'all do some fucked up weird shit. It's never right. It's never the right way to rule.
Yep.
Right? And usually that fucked up weird shit requires killing all Jakes.
Yep.
Like in here, there was something about Esau. He made a comment. No. It was something like, in order for Esau to, sustain his enterprise, it requires Jacob to be killed on a regular basis. That's the only way Esau can rule. Because he knows, I think it's pursuant to like Psalm 82, something like that, where it says, if we would have repented, the Lord would have came and already took out Esau.
Yeah.
I'd be the wrong chapter.
Yeah.
But Esau knows that if Jacob would wake up, if we would all wake up and acknowledge and repent, that the Lord would come and consider Esau right now. So that's why he keeps us in the state that we're in. He keeps us dubious, stupid, confused.
Well, Haman the Agagite said that in the book of Esther. He said, "Look, these people, they're not for our turn. Like they're not for. They will surely rebel, you know."
Well, when we were going over the 12 tribes, at each point in time when Esau came to each of these tribes to subdue them, the tribes of Israel, it was told that they were warned. It's said in history of the tablets, at each encounter, they were warned to leave us alone. And they didn't listen. They had this meme of Lewis and Clark, and it was a meme of like them standing on some nice, good plain land. And it was, it looked nice and resourceful. And it said Lewis and Clark were looking in the direction of America, and it said, look what we got here. And it shows their view as a bunch of Exxons and Mobils and Chevrons and, factories and shit.
Yeah.
Esau's mindset is only to pillage, to lay down and consume everything. Going into the oil industry, Jacob Rockefeller, man, what he did was he did away with the medical industry just for $1.
Yep.
All right, and he introduced petrochemicals to be the shit you take now called pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
That's what you're ingesting in you every time you take a pill. A pill is have oil. Yeah. It's like that. What is that? What is his name? Davy Jones? No, not Davy. What's the dude? Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, Davy Jones locker.
Yeah. So Esau, man. Esau is a piece of shit. Yeah, he is that.
Yeah.
So that's why the Lord has to come and justify what he's going to do to him.
Yeah.
You get that Isaiah 47? 47.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon.
That talking about confusion. All right, the daughter of confusion, go back down to your confused state, which is, being the base. All right? Being nothing.
Right.
It says, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
At the end of the day, like it said in Isaiah 14, that scepter of ownership is going to depart from you. Right?
It says, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Right, so when Yahweh Shai, who y'all literally call Jesus Christ, comes back to show himself, he's going to show Esau in particular that he's not here to make a covenant with you. You were never chosen. All right, you were the base, primitive cave dweller that you always were. And then by showing him that, he's going to destroy him. He's going to make war with them. All right? He's going to talk about taking down the walls of Babylon. That's going to be because Esau's going to try to fight against the Lord. The Lord's going to take that shit down real quick. right? And only through this way, though, can the so-called white man, in a sense, acknowledge who he is. Because you had a past account, you had Antiochus Epiphanes. I think you even had Herod. I can't remember which Herod it was in the book of Acts. But when he tried to take on the, that he was Jupiter, and the angel came out and smote his ass, but he tried to acknowledge, it is the Most High that rules. Same thing with Antiochus Epiphanes. He tried to rule, or he tried to acknowledge that the Most High is the one that rules, but it only happened after, a pitiful judgment. It took a disease to go into Antiochus for him to acknowledge that Yahweh Shah are the true powers and that they rule. It's going to be the same way now, except the Lord is going to have to bring the 200 million missiles. All right, someone give me second Ezra, 3rd chapter, 28th verse. I think it's in 4, it says that. I can't think about it. I think it's 4:27. It's in the plans. Turning it upside down. It's a couple of verses down, verse 29. It's on the top page. On the first. Okay, so I think you're talking about Slack. Verse 7. Because I'm gonna jump to second edges. Verse 4:20. Because I'm going to make a point real quick about how the only way to destroy America is through a certain process.
2nd Ezra chapter 4 and 28. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown has not a way, then cannot it come that is sown with good.
Right, so the reason why I want to bring that out is to prove to you that the Lord has to basically tear everything away from this man's hands. He has to turn it upside down. And that turning of the upside down is going to be through the stripping of all your delicate things, your infrastructure, your society, the whole monumental country that you made to stand as a signal to the whole world that you're the reigning power. All right, these things is what's going to be taken away from you in the end to really humble you. Now, there is no humbling an Edomite. Scripture say you're going to keep doing this shit to the very end. That's why you got those bunkers for the aftermath of the missiles. You got those vaults with all those seeds and the resources, fruits and vegetables, because you think you're going to outlive this thing. Because what's your job, what you want to do is you want to go back to the way you lived after all this destruction happens. But the Lord's going to, again, like it says, He's going to turn all these things upside down.
They got like a slogan, like you got like a phoenix that rises from the ashes. Yeah. So they act like they're going to come back to power, like after the dust settles.
Right.
Those badges, those are different logos on those Space Force badges. Pretty much, shows, what they aim to do.
Yeah, that's it.
Back in Isaiah 47 and 4, and it reads, "As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms."
Hey, that proves what we read in, that proves to you who the well-favorite harlot, the mission of witchcraft is in the 3rd chapter. Because the Chaldeans were notorious and widely known for their witchcraft, their spells and all that. Alright? The chanting, the spells and all that. Hey man, very, very easy example is the music. Alright, when you look into what rhymes is, it goes back to chants. The repetition, it sends out a subliminal message over and over again. Eventually you listen to it. Right?
Trap
Yeah, trap out. Trap music.
And then they put spells of witchcraft on the music before they release it to the people.
Yep, they actually names on there, the records. Yep.
Hey, you know what? I don't know if it's true or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't know if girls remember that record with Kanye West. that he had with his little group or whatever. It had that chick on there.
Oh yeah.
They said that was an actual recording of a demon.
I believe it.
No.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
yeah, but that they said that was an actual recording of a demon.
I would have done it. Well, you had, I think it was, I want to say it was like Jimi Hendrix. He had talked about he would go to a remote land somewhere off in the wilderness, I don't know, somewhere out there.
In the wilderness.
But he would go out there and he would call out to whatever would answer him. And he would sit there for hours until whatever he was calling would enter his body. And again, they said that back in like whatever the years were and all that, that when he would perform, they said that he was a totally different person. And they recognized him after he would become singing and all that. So yeah, and then you got these celebrities talking about how they pray to these spirits to enter so they can act and everything. You know,
Yeah, they call it alter ego.
Yeah.
Those be demons, man. They come on, man. When she performed, it was at Beyonce at the Super Bowl or something like that. They bought some pictures of her, man. That wasn't her, man. That was a little demon.
Lil Wayne is a little Tunchi.
Yeah, he's definitely a demon.
Athletes too, man.
Yeah.
LeBron James, right? He does this hand thing or whatever before he actually performs his basketball games. Where he do this and they go up the pyramid and they go up the 60.
He also got this powder dust that he throws up in the air.
On some Triple H shit, yeah.
And that actually came from something. I forget. That actually came from something. That's a ritual too, man. Because notice nobody else does that. It's just him.
Triple H used to do that in the
he's the face of
WWE.
the league.
God.
So the point is, this place is ran by witchcraft. Book of Isaiah 47:5. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. So it says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy.
So I mean, going back to what I was talking about with Israel, man, we've been off for a minute, and that's why you got to understand why everything was happening. But Esau took it a step further and took it upon himself to run the program, so to speak. But there's a cutoff to that. The Lord is done being brought with his people. So now your pride, your arrogance, your self-willed agenda is going to be brought down now because there's no more use for you. All right, there's no more use for the whipping stick.
Yeah.
All right.
It says, I'll read it again. Isaiah 47:6. It reads, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
See, like I said, because you went further with it. Right? You wanted to practice your little blessing. Right? You wanted to keep on being bloody. You know, like I said, it was all because of this. All right? Our people, the world is for Israel. You really ain't nothing, man. That's something that the so-called white man tried to amount to. Is like you wanted to be something like a shiny vessel to the Lord. But he couldn't do anything right. It's like that movie Shazam, man. Like dude that ended up being the bad guy. You know, they say he couldn't take the power and make it good. And anytime he tried to do good, it was always bad. That's the so-called white man. And so-called white man is like that Chernobyl fuck that just has a toy and he goes a tantrum like crazy and starts breaking shit because he wasn't able to do the thing the right way. Listen to Solomon 6th chapter. Because in being the minister of this kingdom, you have not done it right. You just can't.
You're right.
Jeremiah 13:23, man. You know, and he that is accustomed to doing evil to that which is good. No.
It said, verse 7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it.
Understand, you're going to be punished for all these things. Forget, you're a vagabond and a fugitive. All right, you're a man running from judgment or justice. All right, that's why you go all throughout the earth, man. You're trying to mingle your seed. That's why you try to tell the world that you're something that you're not. All right.
Everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You also try to tell the world that you're everybody. What was that comedian, man? He said, "Hey, the white man makes movies about everything. He's always white." He goes, "Tom Hanks, the last nigga on everything." Let's carry the glass. Yeah, man. These all can do that, man. We can't do that.
Real quick, I got a precept. That last part that he read, he didn't let the latter things to his heart. He considered, the end of his wickedness, the balance of it. This is Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of man is fully set in them to do evil.
You can see that your transgressions and iniquities were judged at that moment. You decided, oh, okay, I'm good. Let's keep on going. Put more grievous laws out, right? Let's try to put this certain thought out. Like the think tanks that y'all got. Ways of trying to catch up Jake. Or what does it say that they sleep not except they do mischief?
Yep.
You're always working in the ways of iniquity. Well, the scripture said that you search out iniquity. You frame mischief, right? You make it into a law. Hey man, coming as of 2023, certain states are now legalizing certain crimes. You can't be detained anymore from.
Yep.
Like second-degree murder.
Yep. Illinois, yeah. Kidnapping.
Aggravated assault.
Yep.
It's called the Safety Act.
Armed robbery.
Yep.
Safety.
Yep. But this is just we already know this is a precursor to what's going to happen in the future, man. Yep.
Yeah.
Temptation and
Stalk around shit.
Yeah, stalkers.
Threatening an official. They can't take you for that.
Wow.
They'll make your own.
I asked my woman this question because I talk to her, But I asked a question. I was like, doesn't this raise questions in your mind? I looked at it. I said, aren't you curious why they're doing this shit?
Right.
How are you gonna let that shit be legal, man? Who would? I don't understand. So now I can go out and commit second-degree murder, and I won't have to go to jail anymore. It's getting close, man. For real, it's getting real close.
Yeah.
With the times that we talk about in the scripture, man.
Yep. They said it like starting January 1st.
They call it the purge.
Also at the end of December, I believe, I can't remember something.
Keisha got her infinity weaves.
December, apparently they're stopping the production of all cash.
Mm.
They're gonna stop. They're gonna stop making cash.
Oh, that's what's up.
December was that December 21st or 31st?
Oh, that's what's up.
Yep. So
Well, that's Salakia, because that actually plays into why they're actually doing the Safety Act, which they're canceling out cash bond bill.
Right. Yeah, kind of. Yep.
They're canceling out the whole. It's like they're canceling out the whole system.
Mm-hmm.
So that lines up.
That's what's up. Hurry this shit up.
Really aggravate, stir up a lot of uprisings to cause a lot of unrest because a lot of these crackers, man, they got shit invested in their money.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
A lot of people.
Property. And,
Yep.
Assets.
Yep. So you're gonna see a lot more, distraughtness. Right.
Got them infinity weaves on.
Well, that's the fuel in the chaos.
Kind of. Yep.
Order
Order of KO. Yep. So they can bring the solution.
Yeah, so they can bring a solution. Biden even said recently, he said that they're gonna make the most. He said he's gonna make the most aggressive push towards the climate crisis. But they saying that's gonna be like the next crisis that they're gonna push. Part of the agenda, pandemic.
Kind of.
The economy.
Yep. That's the global governance for 2020. That's the plan for 2025.
But don't forget that Jake forgets, man. To 2/3. Don't forget that Biden openly gave power over to who, right?
Yeah, the World Health
World
Organization.
Health
Yeah.
Organization, man. In the times of a state of emergency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't think that that's going to cause a state of emergency?
Right.
You know.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Now, what is it? How you gonna predict a plan, you know, teamwork?
I just got a script. Ahmad.
I have him holding.
Oh, okay.
50, 31, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, this is Galatians 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked.
Yep.
For whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall also reap.
Hey, well, we were talking about, you know, how Esau dealt did not consider the latter end. Well, hey, man, what you sow is what you reap. The acts, these criminalizing acts that you put out, you're going to be recompensed for it. And that's why I have this brother holding that one scripture in Jeremiah 51:31. Because through these acts, man, through the pride that we've been talking about, man, you've amounted to a certain status. That's why the scriptures say, man, that, you know, your head is up there in the clouds, man. You're at an elevated status because of all this stuff. You've seen how you have gotten away with all this blood and deceit.
No. He said, "None seeth me."
Yeah. You said that none seeth me, but the Lord sees you, man. He said the scriptures say he beholds the ways of men, and his eyes are 10,000 times better than the sun.
Beholding the good in it.
And he sees your evil, man. But in particular, the evil is always seen the most. Right? You don't think that if you know someone to be a secretive person, you're not going to look in a secret place. You know, what did the dude in Glorious Bastards say? Man, he says, he's like, I have the view of an eagle, but I got to think about how a rat would hide in the holes on the floors. This is Esau, man. Esau really is that rat, trying to hide in the holes in the floors, in the ground. That's why we're talking about going to Talmud.
Yep. In the clefts of the rocks.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, the
Clefts of the rocks.
That's why you want the clefts of the rock, man. What was the book I read about? I know we showed about that. It was the book of Josephus about when they seen Esau. They were naked. They were doing all types of weird shit.
Oh,
They said that
the 13th Tribe by Adam Kosler.
Okay, come. There you go. Yeah, I said that wrong on the video. Yeah, man, but
13th Tribe by Adam Kosler.
because even though this man is the wicked, deep down there's still things that guilt his spirit, I'll say. He knows deep down he's a piece of shit, he's a devil. He knows he was created to be the wicked. And that doesn't sit well with someone sometimes. No. But he knows it, that's why he tries to hide. But this is all being seen by Yahweh Shah.
This is Psalms 10 and 11. And it reads, it says, he hath said in his heart, the Most High hath forgotten. He's hiding his face.
Yep.
He will never see it.
What chapter was that?
This is Psalms 10 and 11. I want to start up.
You can start up because that's a good chapter. That's a good chapter.
That's why in the book of Revelation, when he speaks about Yahweh Shai's return, right? When he speaks about Yahweh Shai's return, that this devil is going to ask the rocks, right, to fall upon him and to hide him.
To hide himself. Yep, from the face of the Lamb.
Yeah, God, of the Lamb, because he knows that he's guilty of all these crimes.
That's right. Somebody can go back into that Nahum 3 for me. That started verse 4. You used to read?
Yeah. I've actually wrote this earlier. This is Psalms 10 and 2. It says, the wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined.
That's happening now. All these agendas that Esau's pushing, that's causing him to fall into his own snare. The scriptures say, man, that a man that how does it say that he diggeth the pit shall follow them in?
Yep.
Because he's doing it the wrong way. Right?
It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous, whom the Lord Yahweh abhorred.
Yeah, is this kingdom not greatly designed by me? Did I not establish all this like they added to the Nebuchadnezzar? Right?
Yep.
Same way with Esau. Except Esau is greater with his pride. I know it's something about Alexander the Great in the Apocrypha. It said that is in his exceeding pride, he magnified himself. That's Esau. All right, go ahead.
He says, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will seek after the Most High, but power is not in all his thoughts. It's like it will not seek after the Most High. The power is not in all his thoughts.
So he's not considering that latter end because he don't even seek that. You don't think of this power that's about judgment, like it says in Deuteronomy, is going to recompense you.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
It says, his ways are always grievous, that thy judgments are far above out of his sight.
Y'all know what another word is for grievous? It's annoying. His ways are always annoying. He's an annoyance, a nuisance on this earth.
That's right.
I think you can actually get a ticket for that, being a public nuisance.
Yeah.
He's a public nuisance. Yes, they're serving this news. Like I said, man, like you got a bunch of criminals walking up and down the street, man, and y'all don't even identify them. We know what they're doing. Yeah. Yep. Go ahead.
It says, as for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity.
But it said in the very beginning, man, that in his pride against the Most High. So that enemy he's puffing up at is the Lord.
Yep.
The Lord is Esau's enemy. All right? Read that one more time.
Verse 6, it says, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity.
What did we read in Isaiah 47? I shall always be a lady forever.
Yep.
You're not that signifying you trying to be moved.
Yep.
All right? Go ahead.
It says, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and frauds. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity.
Yep. Legislations, fraud, newscasting, fraud,
He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, in secret places, though he murder the innocent, his eyes are privily set against the poor.
Yeah, and he murders the innocent covertly, every day, all day, man.
Yep.
He sits in the corner and he plots. Sits in the corner, he plots. He does things from a distance. Chemtrails, setting traps, chemtrails, chromium sticks in the water. The GMO foods. These automobiles that he says has an A+ safety rating, but they lock up on you.
He's even giving those responsible cars to law enforcement.
Yep.
They're actually suing him, I think, in California.
He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net.
Yep. And that net is another word for pit or system. And Jake is all through every system in America. The criminal, the prison system, the educational system.
He says, he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong one.
Yeah, and that's the talks about reparations. The talks about putting legislation on the books to help so-called people of color, like affirmative action. You have like now I think the Bank of the U.S. Bank, either Bank of America or U.S. Bank, now they're giving free home loans out to minorities. So he's, we're gonna give you we're gonna throw you a bone. We're not all bad. But that's to suck you right back into the system, right back into this false reality. Yep.
And what's crazy about that is they're at the end of the rulership, so now they're gonna
Give shit away.
Give shit away. Just kind of like what you said about Arabs going back home. They're like, well, we're going back home now, so everything is
1/4 off.
Yeah.
God. It says, he hath said in his heart, this is scripture, verse 11, he hath said in his heart, the Most High hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it.
It's been so long that you've been unjudged, basically. Like you've been sitting, like the brother said, you've been fat, not fat, drinking dainty, living delicately and technically. The Lord didn't seem to do anything about it. He thought the Lord was altogether as one as thyself.
Yep. That's right.
We understand the Lord is long suffering, man. We know he has a plan. We know he has measured up the times for a certain appointed time. But the time when he will begin to visit, you see him in it. Right?
I like to say spiritual indictment.
Yeah.
The Lord lets you do what you do, so he can
Like
indict
the
your
church.
ass, let you rack it up.
Could have bring a retail charge from a whole other realm, bro. You know what I mean?
You always do, what is it, Ray Liotta on the Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Don't you fucking move. I'm gonna blow your head off.
Real quick, this is Ecclesiastes 8:11. It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him, but it shall not be well with the wicked.
You ever wonder sometimes, like, what Esau looks at when he reads those things, though? When he reads that scripture, what is he reading right there? Is he inserting something else that's not there? You miss that scripture, man, where you don't understand judgments what you read.
That's right.
You got there. It was
It says, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not the Most High.
You're going to fall, right? Go ahead and get that in turn to 24.
this
Oh, yeah.
God, this is Nahum 3 and 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot,
Yep.
the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredom.
Yeah. So you've gone through all of the earth, getting in bed with other nations and spoon feeding them nothing but witchcraft, which is your philosophies and your so-called understandings, man, about science in the world. You know?
Your entire way of life.
Yep.
That selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft.
Yeah, so you sell nations and you sell families, man, through your whoredoms and your witchcraft, you know? So you basically you sell the nations out, you know, to each other, to yourself. You pillage and you rape, rob, and murder pillage their resources, you know, and then you come with a so-called solution. Oh, here's democracy. Here's what Western life is about. This is what Western life feels like, you know. But it's all a lie the whole time because you've been seen or known and seen to perpetuate nothing but death and hatred behind the scenes, man.
I was just watching something on the internet. I can't remember it was about agriculture. And they were just talking about how there's a couple of methods, ways of doing this with their land. And over here, I can't remember. It's real vague. But I remember the fact that they said the Western way is not efficient. I just remember that. People are seeing, man, they're starting to realize, man, that the Western way of life is always the worst.
Yep, it's always a facade.
Yeah. Because when you were talking about these other nations, how they'll get fed with democracy and all that bullshit from Esau, man. Esau will do that too, because he's trying to keep his hands clean. Because even though he's responsible for it, he'll have someone to throw under the bus.
Yep. Yep. And then next thing you know, here comes a propaganda campaign. Here's movies, documentaries, there's books written about this shit, you know?
Where's that, I think it was Germany, when it recently came out and they passed a law. When they passed a law pretty much that they allow no homosexuality.
Russia.
Is that Russia?
Yep.
Well, yeah. Police.
Hey, you know, in essence, by Esau putting a woman above man, like United States.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they just communications.
Yeah.
That's why there was such a big issue at the last Olympics over there in Russia. They were trying to allow America to come on because they were trying to allow the Mauritius in. And Russia was like, no, we ain't having this shit. And so I don't know if they canceled it or not, but it was very exclusive who was allowed in there.
Yep.
So
They had it. It's just that they didn't like over here in the team that were involved in those, trans
upon thy face,
Mm-hmm.
and I will shew the nations thy nakedness,
Yep.
and the kingdoms thy shame.
Yep.
And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and and will set thee as a gazing stock.
And that's the thing, and that's what you're seeing all over the world now. America's at the gazing stock phase. The other nations, they look at this place like it's like like you said earlier, bro, a cesspool. You know, it's like they're looking at they're writing political cartoons and making jokes about this place. You know.
Oh yeah, we made that. Some countries over there, if I'm not mistaken, I think Russia as well. They made that virtual.
Like we're taking their jobs and stuff like that.
No. You remember how America used to have those 25 cents a day
Yeah.
type of commercials?
Oh yeah. I think that was
They
Russia.
made a commercial like that overseas about America.
Yep.
You know, help a poor American out.
We got a quick precept. This is 2 parts right here. It's Habakkuk chapter 2 and
12?
verse 10. It says, "Thou hast consulted shame to thy house, like cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul." We was talking about that earlier. You know how you saw Edom went about the earth, devouring the whole earth. You know, ever since he came out of the caves, you know, after the Byzantine Empire, all right, he went about to what does Scripture say in Revelation? It say
Deceive the nations.
yeah, went about to deceive the nations. You know, that's part of his job. All right, so that shame is being seen.
Right.
Now jumping up to verse 16, it says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory.
Mm-hmm.
Drink thou also." It says, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. So, hey, thou art filled with shame for glory.
Yeah.
So that's the balance of it.
Right.
It says, "Drink thou also," which that cup goes into curses. It says, "And let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and a shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory." That's what we're seeing now.
Start 31. We'll go back to that after this.
Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50:31. "Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee."
When they read this, they can't possibly think the Lord is with them. Like, that shit is over with.
God bless America.
Right. That's over with.
Did you see? They had Biden up again on another little press meeting, whatever, and he totally got lost where he was at. He said this little speech, God bless America, and he left, and he goes, and he had a whole issue trying to get back to God. He tried to play it off and say, no, God bless God bless America.
Yeah. You know,
Y'all just walked all types of close.
This is
Like, that's just
The scriptures describing him as the most proud.
yep.
You know?
no regard for
Scripture
personal
say
space.
His lip was more stout than his fellows. You know, so out of all the Edomites that's on the earth, this definitely is the most proud here in Babylon. You know? It's like,
No, it's good. I would say that was good. That was good.
But back here, Jeremiah, Jeremiah 50:31. "Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee."
Hey, we just got done explaining to you, giving examples of what created that exceeding pride. All right, all the wicked acts that he pushed out, all the legislation, all the laws, all the grievousness, everything that he could do possibly to snare up, Israel, and then also, catch up the nations. Really oppressing the world. That's what amounted to all this pride that he has now. But everything that he did, we already know he did by fraud, he did by deceit, he did by violence. What's that scripture where it said that they take it by violence? How does it go?
They cover the fields by violence. That's Habakkuk 2.
Come. Yeah, go ahead.
Starting at like verse 4.
Go ahead and read this again real quick.
Jeremiah 50:31. "Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord of hosts. Days come at the time that I will visit
And he's visiting you now. It says that the prophets were set last because this is the last part of the process before you get taken down.
Right.
All right, we're here to tell you that there's an end to this. Your country's going to be destroyed. You're going to be destroyed. You're going to go back into slavery. And then after a period of days, you're going to be eradicated off the earth.
Right.
And all will be well.
And it's going to be beautiful. That's something we think about all the time in the elect. We think about your expellment from the earth.
Yep.
You think about the kingdom, how it's going to be like to never see a so-called white man ever again.
Yep. You're gonna be like a nightmare, like a bedtime story that we use to scare little kids.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So you're gonna fly away as a dream.
There was a man that was red, disguised themselves to be as white.
Oh no.
He's under your pillow. You don't be good, the Edomites will come get you.
Right.
Right.
Man, yeah, man.
Sleep tight, I'm like Edomites white. So like,
Read one more verse. We're gonna get this. He's the one that's gonna come in your dreams, right?
howdy.
Like a retarded Michael Myers.
Go ahead, read the next verse.
Jeremiah 50:31. And the most proud shall stumble and fall.
Yep.
And none shall raise them up again.
You see that also going on really well. You see Esau stumbling, all right? He sees he's losing the grip on the earth with control. That's why he's going to usher it. He's going to move to the next phase, which is to implement the MOTV, right? Because he sees that he's losing power. He knows his days are short. He knows that his days are determined. So he's going to enact his next vicious raping of the earth, man, which is the mandate that the sea hit. Right?
Trying to gather men's souls.
And he sees it like, you know what, this earth is fucking tired of not listening to me. You got these goblins acting how they want to act. I'm tired of this. This next thing. Let's go ahead and get that MOTV on.
Yep. Let's erect these private armies. Let's go ahead and retrofit this IRS.
Yep.
Let's go get this Operation Noble Eagle going with the police force. And we're gonna fit them with paramilitary tactics and armor and gear and vehicles.
That's what Joe Biden said.
Yep.
You know, that's them coming out with great rap.
Yep.
And they know they got a short time. They see it, like the brother said, the earth. You know, the prophets rise, the chariot cycles all throughout the earth. That's how they put it on. Yeah,
That's right.
He was talking about that, what, 1990? Joe Biden, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the season.
Yeah.
This season.
Finish that up. Finish that up. Most process comes from fall.
Jeremiah 15:31. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise them up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities.
That fire is going to be through the thermonuclear missiles. But you're also going to have other, catalysts like the plagues that it talks about.
Yep.
All right, that's going to, start all this.
That's right.
Because again, we got to turn this place upside down.
Yeah.
So it's going to slowly deteriorate. But what scriptures talk about pining away, so it's going to hollow out. There's going to be no more nutrients for this place to try to thrive, which the nutrients for Esau is wickedness.
Yeah.
His wickedness is going to be cut off.
The scripture says he shall plague Egypt as with plagues as before.
You got to fight fire with this.
So like, and you can see it. You can see this place, the spirit of this place reigning away.
Yep.
Right? What it says, daughters of music
shall be brought low.
You know, the mirth in this place, everything, the bread and circuses, everything is brought low. It's a joke now. Everybody's really, the only reason why it's still going is because people still have that belief in it.
Yep. Yeah. So they're gonna keep the machine going.
Just too obvious to anybody to say no.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Look at the lady in Israel. What's her she had the rob the place for her money on?
Oh yeah. That.
Somebody posted it in the chat.
Yeah, I did. But, yeah, we did.
No, it was Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
She robbed the bank, but she didn't take nobody else's money. She took her own. Right. It's that bad, man.
That's wild. I would suck everybody else's money too. Shit, I'm there. Fuck it. Same.
It says, and it shall be devoured round about them.
That's it on that. Go back. What did you have, Spark?
I had Ecclesiastes 14. Covetous man, is not satisfied with the
Yeah.
But it's fitting everybody's way.
Does somebody have that Habakkuk too?
This is Ecclesiastes 14:9. The covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drive up his soul.
Yeah, well, another scripture that says how like a man that does evil to himself, he do good, but he's only rewarding evil to himself by everything that he's doing, not realizing how wicked that he's doing. Really, he's just rewarding death to himself. He's drying, like you said, he's drying up his own soul. That goes back to that precept that you brought out earlier. The devil's gonna reap what he sows.
It's just that simple. You sow wickedness.
Yep.
It's like a death.
Yep. You gonna reap it.
What did it say? The Lord is not mocked. So they try to mark the Lord like they go to the to be convinced.
That's right.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. It reads, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith."
That's right.
Esau, the so-called white man, everything he does is the wrong way.
Yep.
He just can't get right. And this is how we
It's
know
the upside down world.
This is how we understand and know for a fact that the so-called white man cannot repent. He cannot be saved. Not one single anybody that's going to make it into the kingdom of heaven.
That's right.
Right? Because you got vocab trying to sneak something. He's trying to sneak a quick one to the kingdom.
Right.
Bring it in.
Yeah, of course, why not?
And it's funny because he's trying to get Agrippa to come to like sprinkle in there, right? But it's crazy because he came out himself and said that Herod was an Edomite, but Agrippa is Herod's son. Herod Agrippa the second.
Just so you know that dude, hey, it's a brother, an elder brother. He had actually said he was like, he personally don't believe that vocab even believes in like he's not even a Christian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was set up to do a job. He was making it as a rapper.
Right.
He was set up to do a job, and now he's coming after the Israelites.
Right. Trying to pass off that fake ass G-funk rap.
They're even writing on his comment board, right? A vocab's comment board, like, dude, you got this overly obsession with Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah.
What about everything else?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
His own followers are saying that.
They
Yep.
also said that he had that little seminar and he revealed that he was hired by the
Yeah. He said it. He said it as if he was joking.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you know, one day I'm walking down the street and, you know, I get approached by these guys in black suits and they offer me a boatload of money and, you know, to basically, you know, talk shit about Hebrew Israelites. And then he goes, well, that's what they're going to say. Well, that's what they say.
Right. That's great.
That's what Esau does. They try to hide the truth in plain sight. But when you talk about comedy, there's always truth in the jokes. You know what I'm saying? That nigga wasn't joking.
One more. Back in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell.
Yep.
And is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
Yeah, so he enlarges his desire as hell. Everywhere he goes, there's nothing but the grave and death and destruction. That's why when you read in Revelation where it says death and hell shall be cast into the lake of fire, that's talking about the so-called white man, you know? You know? Because how is a burning place going to get cast into more fire? You know? How is death, which is a theoretical, you know, thing, going to be cast into fire. That doesn't make sense. So somebody has to be bringing us death and hell, and that's your neighborhood white man. Your friendly, your evil neighbor, your evil neighborhood white man.
Continuing on, it says, who enlargeth his desire as hell,
Yep.
and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations.
That's why he keeps on going.
Yep.
That's why he don't stop. That's why he's not going to try to be like, look, man, we are the devil. We've been lying to you the whole time. Right? We're not.
Right.
We are Edomites.
Right. And we've been using our military to stump on your necks.
Yeah. We wanted the land. We wanted the resources. Sorry.
Right.
But I am the devil.
Yep. And then we have nothing else to take, so you know.
Except for your soul. So get the seat here.
You gotta sneak that Revelation 18 in there.
Right. You got red hand. Red hand.
That's why.
It caught me red-handed.
But it says he will not be satisfied. This is why we know this man's going to continue his agenda to the very end.
That's right. Yeah.
He's going to try to take the so-called Negroes, like the American Indians, up into the very end. He's going to keep working iniquity on you other nations up into the very end. He's going to try to consume and take for himself to the very end. So that's why the Lord is going to be intervention, but like, that's why the Lord's going to put a stop to it. It's going to require Yahweh Shah, because otherwise this man won't stop. It requires a greater power than the so-called white man right now. Right. Yes, you are the greatest power right now, but there's an even greater power out there. Yahweh Shah.
The other nations wearing infinity weaves.
That is bad.
That's wild.
You mean to intervene?
Yeah. They sorry, man. It's the place of lies. That's why I was going to talk about the wine. That wine. All those lies and philosophies.
That's right. This place gotta go.
Hey, but that proves the hoarding of this place too.
God.
You know, women just walking around being whores.
Now
You know? Look, here come whores.
They changed the color. Yeah, that's
More whores.
Back in Habakkuk, I'll read it again. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
you got Eve and agreement with this shit.
Bro.
Right. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine,
Yep.
he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
Yeah, so he's transgressed by his own philosophies, his own devilish, evil way of thinking. You know, is that warped sign of
Give us one up.
that warped mentality. You know.
You saw her face, that was hilarious. She's like,
God damn it, Bruce.
Justin.
Oh man, Sock, you read that over? What the fuck? That's the nigga woman right there.
Yeah, yeah. You wanted that?
Yeah.
Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine,
Yep.
he is a proud man.
He is
Yeah.
in violation of that wine right now, man.
Yep.
Give me one of those. So, we are the apex.
That's that pride though. You know?
He was so drunk, man, he couldn't. That was spiritual.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It says, neither keepeth at home.
Yeah, neither keep it at home. He needs all the resources. He has to go everywhere, grab all the resources, hoard everything for himself. Matter of fact, let me get your people too. You know, same thing that Nimrod did in Genesis the 11th chapter with the Tower of Babel. You know, he has that same spirit.
It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell,
Yep.
and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. It's like satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Yep. Bloodlusted and wants to hoard everything for himself. You know, wants to control everything all over the planet. That's why when you if anybody, I don't know if anybody has it on it, but when you on the book The Protocols of Learned Elders of Zion, the paperback version, there's Amalek having his his claws in the earth and he's bleeding it dry, man.
Who's that? Who does that in the Slack? In the Marvel world. Ain't that Galactus, right?
Yeah, Galactus, yep.
Goes to worlds
Yep.
and he pretty much sucks all the resources.
Call him the World Destroyer.
And leaves them dry, and, you know.
Yep.
That's Esau, man.
That's right.
Yeah, like you said, earlier about the comedians, but the same thing with all the theatrical information, there's truth behind it. It's based off of something. Right? These concepts, these ideas, didn't just spring out of nowhere, man. That's something that was taught back years ago, man. They had to be taught by the brotherhood. When there's doctrine being taught, somebody is teaching. It came from somebody.
Right.
And these ideas of characters, creatures, and this and that comes from these Edomites.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey. That's the Lord too, man. That preserve his wicked, you know, philosophies and ways, man.
Time.
One more. Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Beware of that. Beware to him that increases those things which are not his. This stuff was never yours. It was never yours.
That's right.
You would have come into another person's land and be like, you know what? The Indians are mine now. In fact, it said that in Ezekiel 35 that Esau said that these two countries shall be mine. It was talking about Israel and Judah.
Right.
He said, hey, they are given to us to consume. Who told you that was okay for you? Scripture say, man, that the people you were touching with the apple of the Lord's eye.
That's right.
So it was never for you to determine that. You just, we already know. You sat up on your bed, and this was the next idea that you ran with. You're like, I want to conquer the world.
Yep.
That's what happened with Alexander the Great. He conquered so much, he wept.
Yep, he cried because he thought he had nothing less to conquer.
Yeah, he cried because he had nothing to conquer. I don't.
You got you got the whole known world. That ain't enough, huh?
I don't think I'm gonna cry about not being able to kill more people. You know.
Right. Subjugating more nations, more women, more money, more wine.
Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Yeah, and all that consuming really was just your debt.
Yeah.
Now you're in heavy debt because you got a lot of shit you got to pay back for.
Yep.
But the funny thing about it is that debt is so great, it cannot be justified by any retribution.
Yeah.
You can't give us our what is it, the 2 acres or the 40 acres in our 2 mules. You can't give us a stimmy for being racist anymore.
Right.
They had a study. Should we reparate the Negroes for the racism and the hell we put them back? They had to give a study on it.
Right. And then they don't even have the money to pay it anyway because they're in monetary debt as well.
Yeah. Your dollar ain't worth shit. So really, you have to pay like triple hundos. You know, like
Hundos.
But the amount of transgression by one that you committed now has put you in such great debt that it requires some other form of payment. You can't give us $100 trillion. That won't do it.
Yeah.
You can't. Actually, if you go back into the headwright system of how the white folk got so rich, the headwright system, if you use that same system for the Negroes, they would actually own over half of America right now.
Yeah.
If you did retribute them the proper way. The so-called Negroes will own over half of America. But you don't do that. You keep everything for yourself.
Yep.
You like to consume. You like to suck everything else up for yourself, man. So the only other form of payment that will be accepted by Yahweh Shem Yahshua is your life. All right? It tells you that very well. So read that part again with the lady play.
God. It says, woe to him that increases that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Hey man, it's like you go into an abandoned house. You cleaning it out, maybe, or maybe you just go into it, but you take something just because you're like, well, this is anybody using it.
Yep.
How do you know? Because what are they just really shitty tenants? They just have something there, you know?
Right.
You decided to take it, and they're like, well, hey, it looks like I can use it. I'll fix it up, buff it up. That's basically what you did, man.
So like, somebody actually did Queen Elizabeth.
There you go.
She did that.
There you go.
British colonialism was
Right.
crazy.
The
Yeah.
day after she, gave up the ghost, what they say, gave up,
Gave up the demon.
gave up the demon, yeah. The Lord called her spirit back, right? All of that, all these other of the countries that she was hailing over, or
Yep.
like South America,
Australia,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
Africa.
They started bringing out all the information about her.
Yep.
Like, hold on, man, look, we don't care about her.
Right.
Because
We just
look,
want our stuff back.
right,
Yep.
look, she took our most precious things.
Yeah,
Yep.
they got like
Don't forget
on
they
one
had
hat-
China in subjugation too.
On one hat, she got like diamonds
That diamond's worth, yeah.
that are worth billions of dollars.
She got
Yeah.
the biggest diamond in the world on her staff.
Yeah. It was like, what, like 40 mil or something like that?
Yeah.
And she pillaged that from South Africa.
Yeah, right. She took it.
400 mil. There we go. 400 mil. 400 mil.
Prince, I think he was a child at the time.
Yeah.
That took it.
Took it. Oh,
Yeah.
Just like you said, you don't know what he's doing.
Right. Yep. $400 million in your hand.
I think they said she got an accumulated wealth of over $65 trillion.
Yeah.
She'll be able to bring the world out of debt right now. The lady's like, she's not.
Right.
Like,
Right.
They also said
Really, technically, it wouldn't be no point. I mean, you stole all of that wealth, so how you gonna steal it just to see the world descent into chaos, just to give it back? Here you go, guys. I mean, I'm your savior now.
rooms full of gold. Gold.
Like everybody's gonna forget all of the bullshit you did.
She had a gold carriage. She had a solid gold.
Yep.
They said it's 4 tons.
There you go. Yeah. But I think that these other nations were asking for it back. They were also bringing out that all those precious jewels and things that she had was accumulated from slavery.
Yeah.
They took it out because they killed and they also slaves. No. The estates that were owned by Queen Elizabeth is all from slavery. The house that King Philip just inherited.
Yeah.
It was all from slavery.
Yep.
And I think they asked it or appraised it at like 400 million.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man. Oh my goodness. Hold your head and increase it. That which is not his.
Man.
I gotta read something real quick. This is Job 20:15. He has swallowed down riches and shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly.
Yeah. And that's what's getting ready to happen, man. Because, hey, man, you like, what does it say in James? Like, you've taken in all the riches, all the gold and all that, as in the day of slaughter. That's all going to be given back to us.
What does it say? You heaped up treasure or heaped up riches for the last day?
Yeah, that's
Is that in James?
Yeah, that's the one I just.
Con.
Yeah,
Somebody
so,
grab that.
In the day of slaughter, yeah, like you. But really, you only gathered it up. It says it in Job too that you gathered it up, that the righteous shall put it on. So, hey, man, it makes sense. Yeah, so which one?
Keep up treasures.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay,
I
yes.
got it.
Get this one.
Now, this is Ecclesiastes 10:8. Because of unrighteous dealings, increase, riches gotten by deceit. Kingdom is translated from one people to another.
I think we deny what the scripture is saying.
Yeah.
Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and injurious practices, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. That's why the so-called white man is going to be destroyed for what he's been taken, what he's stolen. Right? These riches that you've accumulated were never yours. No? So you're going to be viciously disturbed and thrown out and cast out of this planet.
Evicted with the quickness.
Yeah.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 73 and verse 7. And it reads, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish.
Huh.
They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression.
Well, we legally, through legal documents, the diamond still belongs to us. Carriage, we framed it. It's our gold now. Or the what is it? How much they have in the Swiss vault? They had like racks of gold bars.
Yeah.
Each rack had like $55 million, I think, with the gold.
Yep.
And they had dozens of racks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full of racks of gold.
Yep.
Yeah.
And don't forget the Vatican Archives. You know, the Library of Congress. All those old documents and paintings and old ancient relics that they have are worth trillions of dollars.
They said you got like an Ark of the Covenant, like
I heard that. I mean, it's the scriptures. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, go ahead and read it one more time about speaking wickedly concerning.
Book of Psalms, chapter 73, verse 8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression.
Yeah, not just about that, but just also in general about the state of our people. We didn't do no harm to you.
Nope.
It was just harm. You know, harm is fun. Why are you so mad? Oh, Draptomania. You know, you wanted to be away from slavery or not be a slave. It was just your mental disorder.
Yep.
You know? You speak wickedly concerning oppression. You know, the thing about Black Wall Street right now, killing off all the Negroes and burning down the town.
Yeah.
That was just that because they were doing some weird shit. You know, you brought in what you want to call guardians in that time, which were you appointing an Edomite male to every household, or the ones that would bring up the oil.
Yeah.
And they would take the money back to their own to Esau, and say that they were stocking and vaulting it because they had proper procedure, this and that, what have you. But you were stealing the money.
Yep.
You know, this is all the speaking wickedly of oppression. There's a lot that Jake deserved, man, for the hell that we were put through. And it was under the so-called white man and his oppressive rule. You know, but you want to say that, man, just deal with it, get over with it, man. We fucked your people up so much. This is the attitude that even the average so-called white man has.
Yep. Oh, get over it. That's fine though.
I'll use this as an example. There was this carjacking or an attempted carjacking at a Chick-fil-A the other day.
Yeah, I see that.
You see that? The woman and the baby and all that, and you see that eating my baby going, how dare you try to scare her like that?
Right.
How dare you? She's a child. You know, like, but the sentiment that they hold about certain situations, you get dysfunctional over that. And then we tell you about the slaughterings that you had, the parties, the picnics, all right, the events you would hold where thousands of crackers would come around to watch one black man get burned up.
Yep.
And you sit down and make a lavish little dinner and just, oh man, I can't wait. And we talk about it and it's a fucking problem.
They will hold it like a city council event, you know? They would take pictures, send postcards, you know? Yeah.
Well, there was one where there was a white family, 3 Edomites sitting in front of their porch, and they just got done hanging a black man.
No, it was actually in the picture.
Yeah, no, in the door.
You can see it in the
door window. Yeah. They had hanging there. You know, like, so what did you do? There's so much.
Right.
There's so much that you have done, man.
Yeah.
That's why it says his sins have reached the heavens.
Yeah. Just imagine what we don't know. Just imagine what we can't research and look up, you know, that the Lord has seen.
Well, like I was going to say, with the devastation of the Indies, you used to have parties and or contests to see whose heads you could chop off further. You could punt further with the head or with the sword. On the Pesach, the Passover, you would hang 13 jakes. It was most of the time the leaders, but you would hang up 13 jakes to mock the Passover. You know, and then you want to act like, yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. God loves me still. He has to love me.
I'm saved.
I'm a God's child. I'm God's angel.
We're part of the new covenant.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's why they're trying to elude judgment, putting themselves into like the fold, like Testament, oh, things change. Forgive. No, you're gonna get your judgment.
When you have this generation's children complaining about it, that's in Sirach 41 and 7. You have them complaining about it, and they, you know what, they sometimes some of the Edomites can sometimes sound a little sincere. They'll do some humiliating shit.
They'll complain of an untimely father, but like the scriptures say, though they go crouching, you got, you know, you can't trust your enemy.
Yeah. Because really deep down, if you don't like the judgment, that if you were to tell an Edomite after a while, like, oh, no, I don't accept that.
Yeah.
I don't accept it. Eventually,
That hatred is gonna come out.
It's gonna, right. You know what? Oh, fuck you then. Right. You know, I don't care. You ain't sincere, man. And the scriptures say, man, that the bones of your youth are full. Or how does it say? Your bones are full of the sin of his youth.
God.
Because that ancient hatred is still gonna always be there.
Obadiah 1:10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall come over thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Whether you accept that what we're saying is true or not, about how you got to deal and the punishment that you're going to be met with by Yahweh Shemel Shah, man, it don't matter, man. For thy violence, go ahead and read it again.
It's Obadiah 1:10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
And shame ultimately going to go into your death. Shame ultimately is going to resort to you being killed.
Yep.
All right? Because the scriptures do say, man, like you read earlier, what you sow is what you reap.
That's right.
It also say, man, that there is no propitiation of sin without the remission of the shedding of blood.
Yep.
You got to pay with your own blood, man. Thou should not remove the ancient landmark, which is what you did. Go ahead.
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
Thou shalt, there you go. That's you can understand that. That's English. Thou shalt be cut off forever. Yeah. It says, I think, like in Jeremiah 51, sleep, the perpetual sleep.
Yeah.
You're never going to come back up again, man. You're going to be cut off and be desolate. Like your scripture says. You got something about
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 35 and verse 33. And it reads, So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. For blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
Didn't we read in Isaiah 47 where it said that the Lord allowed you to pollute his inheritance? That's you. You polluted the inheritance, the land, the people. So you got to pay for it by your blood.
That's right.
And like we always do, I tell you, it's going to happen through that thermonuclear fire.
That's right.
That's the only way that you can purge this thing, man. Like the brother made the notion about gold, that golden cup. The only way it can be fixed is by being melted back down. You can remake a cup. Yeah. You know, but it ain't going to be the same cup.
Yep.
It's going to be a totally different cup, and it's going to have something better in it.
Exactly.
We are that better.
That's right.
We ain't being superficial, or what do you call it, narcissistic and all that shit, man. We're just speaking truth.
Yep.
We don't come out here to be cocky and, about an image, man. We looked at it as a spectacle. We just speaking what's right, man.
That's right.
This is how we're really supposed to be.
That's right.
In the kingdom, you're gonna see it. Yeah, right. Right.
That's right. It's written.
Should we be sorry that we're the chosen, we're the righteous? No, man. Because this is the thing. We're not gonna rule the way that the so-called white man rule. We're not gonna rule how the nations rule, man.
Not at all.
We're not gonna, we're not gonna whoop your ass when you don't deserve it.
Yep.
You're gonna do something that is deserving of an ass whooping.
Yep.
That's the thing about it, So,
I got a precept.
you need to bring up my gold ice cream.
Right.
Real quick, this is
Anybody tell you to work on the Sabbath day, boy?
Ezekiel 35:5. Ezekiel 35:5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
Yep.
Perpetual goes into everlasting.
Eternal.
Yeah, undying. An antiquity, going back to ancient times. So it says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had it in.
Yeah, and then that's going back to the Babylonian Empire. Because remember, Ezekiel was in Babylonian Empire. So when he was breaking this down, he was speaking about Edom at that time that the Babylonians were taking the southern kingdom into captivity. Esau was actually helping and aiding and assisting the Babylonians, at that time. But that perpetual hatred goes all the way back from the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter, or 25th, 26th chapter, so that perpetual hatred there goes all the way back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter of the serpent, in the garden, even before Cain and Abel. That's right. So you have that eternal hatred that's been there since Cain and Abel in the serpent, man. So for 5,000 years, this nigga has been a hater.
Hey, what's crazy is while I just turned on my phone to look for a scripture, and a Twitter alert, it said emergency alert extreme. And it's talking about a Milwaukee resident, a white male, went missing.
Esau finna go missing around this motherfucker, for real. Smoked. Right. Go ahead, Doc.
It says, verse 6, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord,
Yep.
power, I will prepare thee unto blood.
See, as the Lord liveth, because our power is the power of life, man. You know, our God is the God of the living, not the God of the dead. All these other idols, this earth pig over there is a god of the gods of the dead, man. You know, but our power is the power of the living, and He is a living power. You know, that's the God of the dead of the other nations. Yahweh Bashmi Al Shai. Let's flip that around. This is the power of the living, man. Israel.
That's right.
That's the power that can actually intervene
Con.
and cause things to happen.
Yep. So as He liveth, He's going to prepare you unto blood. This is not a game. This isn't a fad. This isn't false. This isn't fake. There's no way you can stop this. This is what's going to happen, man. Starting with the Isaiah, the 42nd chapter, we read the first scripture, man. This is a new thing is being declared, man.
That's right. It says, well, when you look at the word prepare, it means to make ready.
Yep.
So He's doing things. The Lord is doing things to get you ready for that sacrifice that He has waiting for.
That's right.
Which is the slaughter.
That's right. Prepare slaughter for His children.
Ezekiel 35, 6. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
Yep.
See?
So you can't escape this, Slacky.
No. It says, since thou hast not hated blood, neither blood shall pursue thee.
Mm-hmm.
Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate,
Woo!
and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth.
Right. So Mount Seir is going to be desolate. Now that's not saying that Mount Seir in over there in Turkey. This is talking about wherever you dwell, where your ultimate dwelling place is, which is America. You know, this place is going to be utterly desolate.
Right?
You know, because think about it. If this was written in the Babylonian Empire, Mount Seir is still there. Mount Seir doesn't look like a chalk mark on the ground. You know, but this place is going to be a skid mark on the earth, man.
It says, well, again,
It's gonna be a shit stain.
I was actually going to ask yourself who lives in this place, you know? Who lives in Mount
like
Seir? You don't know.
Come on. My bad. I be saying the funniest shit and I be serious. So like it.
This book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 6, and it reads, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood.
Yep.
It is made fat with fatness.
That's right.
And with the blood of lambs and goats.
Yep.
And the blood of the lambs and the goats, or the lambs is who? Israel. Israelites. Because you got 2/3 of our people who are going to be killed, all right, because they go hand in hand with this place, along with Esau, being like Esau. And then the goats is the wicked, so-called white man in particular.
That's right.
All right? So the Lord said again that He had
Isaiah 34 and 6. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams of the Lord have a sacrifice, for the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
That's right.
Idumea was the Greek word
For Edom.
Edom. Yep.
That's right.
So, we're not talking. So there's a sacrifice coming, a great slaughter.
Yeah.
All right, a very slow slaughter.
Throw your ass in the bonfire, call it a night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want to bring out, more verses back in this Ecclesiastes 10th chapter. I'm going to read, I'm start at verse 8 again. All right. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, the riches got by the sea, even his translated is one to another.
Yep.
We already broke that down earlier. Right? So, it says, why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a coveted man. And that's just always to covet means one with the next person got.
A couple more scriptures, then we're gonna wrap it up.
So, that's all Esau you meant to be doing, brother. It's coveting after resources, and doing what you gotta do to get it.
That's right.
All you gotta do is look at America, right? Everything here has been stolen from someone else.
Exactly.
From some other culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the scriptures say they oppress a man in his heritage. Man in his house, a man in his heritage.
There's no originality from the so-called white.
That's right.
It's a great melting pot, right? Like it's a whole bunch of.
Yeah, I was just I was thinking because that's eventually that's what the Lord's gonna do when He melts this place. You know, everything is gonna be thrown into that fire.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the fire I'm about to burn tonight.
Then it says, so what? 10 and 9, it says, God's earth and ass is proud. Does not Lord do the thing that it covetous.
What? Recently?
It says,
They literally got chipped together.
for such a one setteth his own soul to sell.
Huh. He sold his own soul to sell.
You
So
don't
because
care,
yeah.
you don't care at the end. The price is gonna have to pay for it.
Yep. He just wants what he wants, so he gonna do whatever he has to do.
Yep.
So he's doing more harm to himself than he realized.
Yep. That's why the scripture says he sinneth against his own soul.
You know, it says, what was the quote about this guy chosen back from Karate Kid? But he made a quote to the Edomite. He said, "I'm not afraid to kill." And the Edomite said, "I'm not afraid to die." He said, "You fought back because I'm not afraid to die." That's a sentiment that the so-called white man holds. Because
That's right.
he knows he's going to die in the end, but he's not afraid to die, so he's going to enact it still.
Yep.
It says, because while he liveth, he casts away his vows.
That's right.
Vows of mercy.
Yep.
He don't got no mercy on nobody.
Exactly. Just most inward parts. So the man's not human.
Yep. Literally.
Yeah.
He's not a man of color.
Yep. You're right. Physically or
It's not so bad.
Right.
Hey, but did you bring that up before? The experiment that they did about Esau, they watched to see if, like, his passion sensors and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
something happened.
Yeah. He's a sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think that was a man and a woman.
Well, because it's
But
experiment, so
yeah,
they don't have the passion.
Right. Oh yeah, because it's impossible for the so-called white man to feel sorrow,
Yep.
compassion,
Yep.
or a sincerity.
Yep.
Yeah, and for real, it really is.
You can see it. Even when they trying to.
Why do you think they put these people up in these offices at the certain jobs, like food stamps? They have to put certain types of people in there because they won't have compassion when a woman comes crying.
Yep.
I mean, please.
Yep.
Sorry.
They make them take a psyche valve.
Yeah.
In that psychological evaluation, there's hidden markers in the scores to let you know, like, if you have the right type of compassion or the right psychological aspect to even do this job. That's why you go in the military, you have to take a psych evaluation.
Because I had a lie. At the time I still had the sentiment of it doesn't matter what type of job it is, truth.
Yeah.
But when this job came to me about making calls to certain people, they told me I would have to harass them. I would have to cast away being understanding. I would have to get the loan requirement and everything.
Yeah.
And they asked me, could you do that? And I lied to them. I said, I can do it, but I could not, man. I couldn't. But I apparently passed. But, they asked that question.
Yeah. And then they'll ask you the same question multiple ways.
Yep. That's why they do that.
Yeah. But they do that with every job, though.
Yeah.
Ask you a certain question, but it's different.
Because they want you to be a slave. And they make sure that you're down for the job.
One more verse. Verse 10, it says, a physician cutteth off a long disease, which the physician is Yahweh Shai. Coming to cut Esau off with the cancer of the earth, so the earth can be revitalized. Restored to heaven. It says, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die.
Woo! That's beautiful.
Yep.
So he's a king right now. He lives in sumptuously, faring sumptuously every day, like the rich man and Lazarus. But then at some point, the rich man, died, Lazarus died. He's gonna wake up in torment.
That's right.
Yeah, because Lazarus as well. He was the bosom of Abraham.
Yeah.
what did we read earlier?
In Luke 16, if somebody want to grab it.
He was, it said in Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter, no sinner doing evil 100
Yep,
times.
it shall not be well with the wicked.
Yeah, be better off with the righteous. So,
Yeah. You think he gonna get some mercy?
You gather that you heaped up treasures as in the day of slaughter, man, because you wanted to try to lavishly enjoy it as much as possible.
Yep.
You know, like the pleasure that ran out.
That's right.
Did you have something on?
I did actually. I had 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, 24th verse. And it reads, Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, he's speaking of Yahushua, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. You know, so all rule, authority, and power of Babylon the Great, aka America, will be brought down, man.
Exactly.
White supremacy is coming to an end, man.
That's right. That's right.
That's the truth. Verse 25, for he must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet.
That's right.
And if anyone who is not of the nation of Israel is an enemy of Yahweh Shai and his chosen people.
That's right.
You know? And you will be put in captivity, man. So, you know,
Whether you like it, whether you like it, believe it, or not. It's happening, man. You know, hey, because through the Spirit, man, the Lord been having grows in that Spirit, man. We're not in the business of, you know, pretty much in that Spirit of reminding you people, man. We're not in the business of convincing people. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Yep.
You see, that is your enemy, whether you believe it or not. You won't see, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, right? And you know, like the brother went into, man, future prophecy, man.
That's right.
You know, the Israelites ruling, man. The devil's in bondage, man. You need it. It's gonna
right.
happen.
That's right. And then we're gonna end off on this Luke 16.
This is Luke 16, and I'm gonna start at 19. There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen,
Yep.
and fared sumptuously every day.
Yep. And that's
The purple represented rulership, lavish lifestyle.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, talking about Esau, Edom. You know, when you go into the Maccabees in the Apocrypha, it tells you that they wore purple and scarlet.
Yep.
You know, and their kingdom was distinct from all other kingdoms.
In fact, I think it came from which ruler was where they gave a purple robe to Judas Maccabees.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it signified royalty.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table.
See, and I was talking about Israel. Israel are of the poor because we're in captivity. You know, so they were desiring to be fed with the scraps from the rich man's table. And now you can liken that unto the so-called ones that make it in this society. You know, the ones that sell out to Esau and these other nations. They're able to they want to eat those crumbs. You know, that so they get millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? They sign a deal and they get what? They throw 360 deals. You know what I'm saying? Get a $2-3 million advance. Those are crumbs. You think they're living lavish, but those are crumbs. You know. Go ahead.
Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores.
Right, the dogs. Going back to when you read Mark the 7th chapter, when the Samaritan woman, when the Phoenician woman said to Yahushua, when she said, the dogs, damn, somebody, matter of fact, when you read Exodus 11 and 7, I'll just go to that one because I can't remember other scriptures, but when you read Exodus 11 and 7, it tells you that the dog shall not wag his tongue against, the dog shall not wag his tongue against Israel, talking about the Egyptians, you know. So the dogs represent the other nations, you know. So the dogs represent other nations. The other nations came and licked on the sores. What happens when you lick a sore? It's like pouring a salt in a wound, you know. So they're making our condition worse on this planet by eating off of us, by taking the nutrients that we need in order to heal our wounds, and they're using it to nourish themselves. That's why they have convenience stores in our communities. That's why they pillage us on interest rates on loans and car loans. You know, that's why they can come to America and have stipends and actually build something here. You know, but what they build is siphoning off of the neighborhoods of the Black, Signs, and Native Americans. You know, the school system, all of this plays a part. Go ahead.
16 and 22. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by an angel into Abraham's bosom.
Yeah, see, Israel eventually shall be saved with an everlasting salvation. You know, all Israel shall be saved. So Israel was saved in this scenario and taken to heaven, man, to the kingdom. Go ahead. So where did the rich man go though?
The rich man also died.
Yep.
And was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments.
So the rich man was buried, you know. So his body was able to see corruption. It didn't say that Israel was buried. It said the beggar died and went up to the Father. You know, that's the elect. And the rich man died and was buried. And in hell, he lifted up his eyes in torments. Why? Because his hell is our heaven. You know, you ever heard a black man's hell is a white man's heaven? So now they're going to experience a white man's hell is a black man's heaven. You know?
Right.
And in hell, he lifted up his eyes, being in torments.
Yeah, because you get that ass whooped.
Abraham.
Yep, see it's Abraham?
Yeah, I got you. Luke 16 and 22. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom.
Yep.
And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me.
So Abraham had Lazarus, which represented Israel, in his bosom, comforting and comfort. You know, Israel was being embraced. And here go Esau, punk ass. Oh, Father Abraham, we all come from Abraham. Oh, we all come from Abraham. Remember me? I'm Esau. Remember Edom? Hey, how are you? Nah, fuck you.
And send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue.
Why the hell would Lazarus do that? Why would Lazarus do that? That doesn't even make any sense. So now you want mercy from the same people that you showed no mercy. You know? That's why when you read James, it tells you that he will have no mercy who showed no mercy. You know? Go ahead.
And cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil.
Right.
Evil
So you enjoyed the fatness of the earth. You lived it up. You did it big. You did it big. You know, you had more than heart can wish. You did everything you wanted. You know, you partied. You know, you got drunk off your own philosophy and wine. You enlarged your desire is death and hell. You destroyed everything. You took everything, all the resources for yourself. You had everything that you could have ever wanted. But while you was doing that, Lazarus received all the evil that you threw at him for just existing, man. And for getting in your way of you pillaging all the resources on the planet Earth, man. You know, you gave Lazarus nothing but hell. So now you're receiving hell and you want mercy. Sound like a fucking Edomite.
But this proves, right, that Esau's actually with us.
That's right, and they're gonna go somewhere totally separate in the spiritual realm, man.
But now he is comforted,
Yep.
and thou art tormented.
That's right. So Israel is going to be comforted in the kingdom of heaven, and Esau, Edom, and the other nations are going to be tormented, man.
And Scripture says that the Lord is going to wipe the tears from our eyes.
That's right.
Death,
Yep.
pain.
Revelation 21. You know.
So,
Yeah.
all right, well, with that, we're going to go ahead and end it. I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, HaKadosh.
double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Honors and blessings to the elect, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai. Hey, with that, abad the ball.
Abba, Baba.